2016. And this episode of Redacted is brought to you by Antlion Audio, creators of Mod Mic, standalone microphone that you add to your existing headsets, and that is what we use here on Redacted. That BoredGamer's banging around in his crotch. But yeah, go check him out, modmic.com. And yeah, how's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. Fantastic. What have you been up to, Twerk?
Fuck. I haven't been streaming that much. I apologize for not streaming today, guys. Or yesterday's my day.
Asshole!
I know. And I've been really busy. I've worked my butt off. A lot of the stuff you can't see yet because it's not even close to done, but I
Should
told
we
everybody
show them
that
what we have?
Show the website off today on the podcast, and that's really what I've been working on, was taking it to the next level, you know, and
push it to the limit.
Yeah, show them what we got.
Yeah, show me what you got.
This is it right here. It says Redacted. There's some letters. There's a little search magnifying glass. We got some more letters and a picture. We got some more pictures that move when you scroll over them. You have
oh, don't show the work. That's behind the wizard's curtain, Saurus.
YouTubers
for that shit.
Stuff.
It's not even ready. It's all placeholder content. Oh no.
You can see who's definitely the most active on Twitter.
Yeah. At the moment.
Yep. And yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. But this is the landing page here.
Yeah.
And what's
right
cool
now
is
the YouTube is just BoredGamer's YouTube, but what's that's going to actually be is all the people in Redacted that post YouTube videos are going to end up in a playlist, and it's going to automatically update from there.
Just me and it. It's just me and YouTube.
No, what about Noob Fire, Super Mac Brothers? I do some YouTube stuff every now and then. Saurus does some rarely, but he does it. You know.
Talking about
Gray
Noobifire, actually.
Yeah.
Noobifire sent me his concierge card because he got me one signed, and I think he lost it, so he sent me his to say sorry, and I love you, Noobifire. He sent me a T-shirt which you can't see because it's camouflaged on my orange chair.
Yeah,
camouflage
stickers. I love him so much. Thanks, Noob.
No, but long story short is I wanted to make the site a little easier to navigate, and
where can people go for the NDA stuff?
They can't go anywhere. We're not going to tell them where. I don't want anybody to be.
No. I mean the Evil Cuddy NDA stuff. Where are we going to post that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on this page that you don't know where to go to.
What about the Konami code to get all the free
It's just because it's not optimized, and I don't need people going on there. And I've already been charged an excessive amount of money for it not being optimized. So, support us on Patreon, please, and help this website.
Or repeatedly press F5 on our website to really piss Twerk off.
Also, I meant to tell both of you guys this before we started. I did change the Patreon to I actually did it accidentally. I didn't know you couldn't go back, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Is when you pledge for Patreon now, it automatically will deduct from your account. If you're a previous Patreon, you'll still get deducted on the 1st. So, and the following month, I think you'll get deducted on the 1st. But at the time, as soon as you pledge for Patreon, it automatically comes out, and then you get the rewards. Well, so it's similar to donations, yeah, except it's still a monthly thing. It's just the day you decide to pledge is the day the money comes out.
Right.
So instead of it being like, okay, I pledged, like this was a big problem with Patreon. It was like people would pledge to it and be like, okay, where are my rewards? And it's like, well, you haven't paid yet. You just pledged. So you don't get the reward.
Patreons ask for that. Fuck.
Yeah, until it comes through.
So it goes right away. It actually scared the shit out of me because we currently have one Patreon for November, and I thought I deleted all of them, but I think they just haven't gotten deducted on the 1st yet, so that's why we don't see all the people. Like if you go into the actual dashboard for us, it's like they all disappeared, and I freaked out and was like, "Oh my god, what did I do? Everybody's gonna kill me." But no, so I think we're okay when looking at the frequently asked questions and stuff. But yeah, thank you for you guys because you made that happen. There's a couple plugins there that costed money. The YouTube one costed a little bit, and the Twitter one costed a little bit, and we're gonna keep that until my brother can make a Twitter one for us. As you could see, there was no Twitch thing there, and that's because he's in the process of building it right now. So he's able to pull all the information out of the Twitch API that we want, but it's making it look nice and pretty, like all things redacted. Like we try to make things look nice. So until that's up there, it won't be on the front page. But as soon as it's done, it will be. Other than that, I'm trying to work on a lot of the posts and other pages and things like that and making them look nice. But yeah.
Right on.
So I've been working really hard on that. We got a nice little theme to make it easy. I pretty much did that. We had to scrap the old site that we showed on the podcast because it wasn't functioning the way we wanted it to.
Yeah, there weren't some.
Yeah, the functionality wasn't really where we wanted it to be. So this helped that big time. So yeah, I pretty much did that all this week. So yeah.
Big time.
That's all I've done. I beat Doom, but besides that, I mean, honestly, it's all I've really been doing, and it's nice to finally show it. Hopefully, you guys like it, and
yeah, hopefully it's
hopefully
what
we
you
can
guys
release
want.
it soon.
And don't worry, we still have our other website will still be active, and we'll switch that over probably around a time frame when most people wouldn't be on the website.
Yes.
So there won't be any downtime in between.
No.
Bored, what have you been up to this last week, man?
Well, I hate to be a drag, but I've been shit. I mean, I've been enjoying myself doing Star Citizen and content, but me as personally, I've been a bit shit. I had to go to the doctor earlier today for some anti-anxiety reasons, and I've just been a bit meh recently. But I get like that sometimes, and I thought, should I just not mention it? But I thought, fuck it. I can be open about it because fuck you guys if you don't like it. The problem is I've got quite chunky now, and Saurus and Twerk were like, we need a fat guy in Redacted, and they went up for it. So
I lost 15 pounds, and did you gain them?
I gained twice that, I think. I've gained a lot of weight. But I mean, I quite like food. Food does fill the void of despair in my soul.
It really does. Yeah. Like I wasn't feeling that great, and I fucking jumped off the diet for a day.
Food is delicious.
It is. I used to be a chef, so it's very much food is a love of mine that makes me feel. I've been eating whole chickens, just rotisserie style, nom nom nom. But I need to sort myself out, which I will soon. I'm very cyclical when it comes to like anxiety and stuff, but I do get quite focused on stuff. So I've been doing lots of like guides and things, which haven't been published yet because I looked at them and went, they're not ready, quite melodramatically. But tomorrow I'll probably just
anything
go through
specific.
Them all. Well, the big one is a PC like guide for all levels of Star Citizen-esque and gaming PCs. So it goes from basic explanation of all the components to what you need for a 1440p or a 4K computer, and lots of my opinion on that, and then lots of signposting saying this is the sort of PSU you want, don't buy a cheap one, this is the reasons why, this is places you can look for this stuff, and it explains graphics cards, socket types, all that sort of stuff. So it goes into very basic stuff but also quite advanced stuff, and that will be a living breathing document that will literally get updated anytime something new is released, as well as drivers get released and stuff as well. And that's the idea of that, so people can look at it and go, I want to buy a Star Citizen computer, but I don't know what I want. So they go, well, I can have this super cheap budget one, or I can go for a super high level one. I want a 4K one? And then obviously there at the moment it warns you off 4K ones because we don't have the monitors for them yet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the idea there is to have something of all levels there. And I know that's what you want to do with joysticks as well, isn't it, Twerk? You were saying before.
Yeah, like I want to do joystick and mouse. I want to do throttle and mouse. I want to do dual joysticks with all different joysticks. I want to do a lot of things with that. I just
Power Glove.
My
focus has really been on the site, so I haven't done anything I want to do.
One of the annoyances and joys of Star Citizen from a content point of view is that we have to wait a long time for everything, but that does allow us to plan and gear for things.
Yeah. I haven't been planning. I need to do more planning on those type of things. Like maybe next week I'll actually just try and set up the old throttle and mouse setup. It's something I really want to try.
The old throttle and mouse.
Yeah, it's not really old. I don't know how many people actually use it, but it's something I really want to try.
I'm probably moving on to that for flying the spaceship.
It seemed like it'll be fun.
It's really useful. It gives you a lot of precision. A surprisingly large amount of precision.
You know?
Yeah, I think you would get the best of both worlds with that.
Hopefully. Hopefully the little mini joystick there is solid enough to fly your ship with, and then strafe with directional keys.
The problem with the X55 little mini sticks is they're a little bit too sensitive movement.
Yeah, they're really loose.
Do you know what I mean? They're loose.
But you should be able to.
You can tighten them up probably.
Not just tighten them up, but you should be able to like change the curves a little bit to make them less sensitive, right?
Well, yeah, okay.
In their software, but yeah.
But I love the idea of those thumbsticks because I wanted to have a different throttle. I wanted to have the Thrustmaster one and then make a thumbstick for it. But I'm gonna mess around with both of them. As soon as I get that Thrustmaster one, I'm gonna mess around with both of them and see what I think's best for a home ass setup.
Yeah, because I have the T16000M1 and it has a little joystick that's on your index finger. So I'm gonna use it on that and try and see what happens.
But other than that, I've been doing loads and loads and loads of actually getting good at
getting good.
Well,
get good, scrub.
Recently, like I've been trying to do meta builds and then going maybe a little bit more avocado-esque and playing a lot in the avocado stuff.
Nice.
Obviously can't
I haven't been playing. I need to. I might actually play tonight.
Yeah, cool. But I know we're all going to be relatively good at the game purely from hours played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, understanding of mechanics, right? Where maybe people don't have that understanding that we have.
What I want is that when people try and snipe me or go lol BoredGamer, I want to be able to go fuck you, buddy, rather than for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm gonna be saying for fuck's sake a lot. I have a feeling, but
fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn it. What have you been up to, Saurus?
Oh yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. Just cut me off.
I didn't know. I thought you were done. No,
it's fine. I'm just gonna cry with my crab.
Go eat another chicken.
I fucking will, mate. See you later.
Just tear it apart with his hands.
What have you been up to, Saurus?
Yeah, I've just been playing video games. Some Star Citizen, more Call of Duty. I played a little bit of DayZ yesterday. It's starting to look really good. I have it up on screen now, like with all their shadows and the lighting and frame rate and everything is nice and pretty. So I was on the EXP build for that yesterday. Other than that, just sort of powering through content. I've been sort of getting over the whole not having content to play in Star Citizen, and it's been increasingly tougher because as time goes on, less people are playing, which makes it less enjoyable for the people who are playing, which then it's just sort of snowballs, right? So I've been looking at other stuff and just doing some like relaxing streams and getting my my concentration face on in the Call of Duties. So no, but all in all, it's been
he's a COD kid now, guys.
Dude, it's been fun. So
I know. Listen, I enjoyed the campaign. I have no problem. It was a fun game.
Like I've really started to enjoy multiplayer more and more as I play it. It's like
nice.
I don't know. It's just nice to be able to get in, get some action, and then it's just go for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Is it also nice to play a
and
game
then take a break for a couple minutes while you're in the lobby, and then you're back in again?
Yeah. Is it nice to play a game that's actually like, even though it's not to the level of what we expect from Star Citizen, is it nice to play a game that's feature complete? You know, it's one of those things
like feature complete, knowing
every now and then,
if I die,
a real game.
Knowing that if I die, it's my own fault.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that if I want to do something, I know it's going to do it every time.
Yeah.
Like those kind of things. And that's not the full CIG. This is the process of having a game in early access and alpha.
Yeah.
But
it's just
it's because I basically only play Star Citizen. It's been really nice to be able to do this.
I know you've been struggling to find a game that you enjoy, so it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm surprised at what the game it is that you ended up enjoying, I'm glad you found something that you enjoy.
I've heard you quite enjoy Minecraft as well. Fuck you.
Anyways.
Magnetron asks, have you tried Battlefield 1?
No, so for me, the only reason I tried Call of Duty in the first place was the theme. And I wanted to stay sort of within the same theme of the space. Like, I thought the space theme was really cool. So I want to check it out and try it out and see how it was. And this is my first Call of Duty ever.
Yeah,
I own Battlefield 3, I think.
I have Battlefield 4, I think. Yeah, 4.
I
like it.
I think I played it once for 5 minutes. I don't even remember it.
I've got a decent,
But
maybe like 20,
I never
30
really
hours.
I never really got into it. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. This has just been something I've gotten into, and the thing is, I'm starting to learn the maps now, and I'm starting to learn what my abilities are, and getting better and better. And yeah, overall it's look at like this one guy's name is 420 Blaze Swag Kappa Yellow Rect with X's on both sides. Like, it's Call of Duty, man. It's definitely Call of Duty. Yeah, right. But I just right here, bam. So ridiculous.
Someone's just suggested that we play some zombies sessions. We have played some zombie sessions.
It was pretty fun. I didn't realize it was as complicated as it is.
There's a lot going on.
There's not only a lot going on, but like there's strategies and stuff.
Not the way we play.
MLG strats. There's no
but like
strats.
there's like legit like zombie strategies, and I had no idea. Like all the maps matter.
We don't follow the strats.
No, we just kill
I'm definitely up for doing more zombies, but also Daisy, H1Z1.
Yeah, Daisy is something I want to get back more into. The lighting is really awesome.
H1Z1. Like, we had some fun times. Me, Bored.
Yeah, when you shot me in the
Sharp,
face.
Well, they have King of the Kill. They have King of the Kill now, right? Which is like solo or team based battle royale.
Pretty fun as well.
Battle royale, yeah. It's so fun.
But
it's just fun with friends.
And also, I want to remind everybody we do have a monthly Redacted giveaway happening. !monthly in chat for the link to that. It is open to everybody. And let me just throw this up here for you guys. And we are giving away this month a starter package, I believe, with Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Yeah, Mustang Alpha. So if you want in on that, click on that link in chat or below the video, because I make Bored put in links below the video.
He tries to, and I do.
And I do. But yeah, you want to jump right into the news, or?
I was about to say, fuck yeah, let's do it. I don't know why I was like so ready.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! I'm jacked, bro! I'm jacked on Call of Duty. Some Battle COD Galacta duty. Fucking yeah!
What are you gonna do when I delete it all, though, Twerk? Fucking.
I'm really jacked for the news. I don't know why. It was a pretty quiet week, right? So.
Yeah, it was.
Guys, can I get some hype in chat? I want some hype.
Quiet week. Yeah.
Quiet week.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's
what are we gonna talk about? Yeah. No. So they had
sponsored by cocaine.
They had ATV from LA this week. And overall, what did you guys think? Just before we get into it, what did you guys think of the episode?
There was some.
So we think they're starting to get the idea.
Yes and no.
Talking about.
I mean, it was cool to see the room interaction system in the early state that it was in. And obviously, we're going to go more into that. I think that was the highlight of the episode. I think that they spent too much time on the materials and everything of the characters. We've seen the PBR materials before. We know what it is. Right. And yeah, it's cool that it's coming in on characters, but I don't think the amount of time spent on it was really that warranted. I could be wrong, but
they maybe did that character pipeline stuff because they went, let's get that out of the way before we do the ship pipeline at the anniversary sale.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't have anything else to show, and that's what they wanted to show and spend their time on. And that's reasonable too, right? This is LA, and then seeing the Buccaneer obviously was really cool. Obviously, we not a lot new with the Buccaneer, but it was still
nice to see it tested in white box.
It was nice to see white box and tested for sure, especially as an owner of one. But yeah, that's sort of where I stand on the thing, and it was really nice of Chris to have that little speech at the end.
Yeah,
because I think
so
a lot of people were
let's
asking.
let's not talk about the entire fucking doc in 2
Can we
seconds.
Well, you
Let's go
just
into
no,
the-
you just asked me what I thought about the ATV, so I'm
I
answering.
know, but
Can we
just did the
capture
whole
him?
doc.
Can we capture Chris's face when he says "sure"? Can we?
Oh, it's so good. We could go.
It's-
Let's start with that because that was hilarious.
You want to do the Chris's update?
Yeah, we could
Chris's
talk about
update
Chris's
first.
update, and while we're talking about it, you can maybe try and
it's
freeze
like
frame on his face
Sandy's
when
just-
Sandy.
I don't have a video
Sandy's
link
just
for
like
that.
kidney punched him.
Here,
like,
let me see.
bam, with
Just
a-
use one of the other links and scroll to it. So right at the end of ATV, Sandy tells Chris, like, okay, but before we go, Chris, do you want to give us an update on 2.6? And Chris is like,
Sure.
sure.
So good.
Like, no, I don't want to. Which
I don't know
I
if
don't
I
know
can.
how I felt about that.
I don't know
It's
what
at
the
the very end.
timestamp is for
At
it.
the very end. It's at the
Yeah,
very end.
I am at the very end, but
you
Scroll back.
there's them talking for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, so I
We
don't
have a
know.
tendency to.
I don't have audio,
read
remember.
certain things and not read into others, and I mean that could have just been a tongue-in-cheek thing. That could have been sort of like,
I don't.
I know everyone needs to hear this, but there's nothing new to update from last time.
Maybe.
Stuff,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It was funny though.
It
funny.
was. Like, I don't
It's
know
good to
how I
hear
felt
them.
about
It's
it.
good
It
to-
was kind of like,
Well, I want them to
why
do
is
this.
it so hard for you to do this? You
I
know?
want to state at the game.
That's what it
well,
felt
it
like.
could be because it's almost ready. It could be because there's like one major blocker. They're like, "Fuck, what do we do?" Like, there's loads of reasons it could be.
Yeah.
I found it.
It just felt like he was like, I don't want to me. And it was just like, why don't you want to? Because what he
Sweet.
said was all like legit. Like, it
You
was
wanna go
one of
through
those
that
things
list?
like,
Do you want to go through that legit list?
yeah, I got it. I wrote everything that I thought was like relevant that he said. Like he just said map improvements. You know, here we're gonna. It's so good.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck. But the like map improvements for like they had designers going through, I believe, the smaller one. So I think the smaller one needed some like, hey, you know, maybe this, you know, the team that starts on this side has a little more of an advantage than the team that starts on that side or whatever.
Right.
And so they said designers on one and then art on the other. So maybe just like a little bit of lighting. The last like art pass, like, all right, let's make this
Right.
thing look beautiful. Let's make sure, you know, get the poly count down or whatever the fuck they do. I don't know what it is, but usually the last pass is what, lighting for the ships. So maybe it is for the levels as well. And then here was kind of a big one that I thought made a lot of sense for why we don't have it yet, because they do want to. I think we've all agreed that if they're going to show Star Marine, they have to show it in a relatively reasonable state for how long it's been gone.
Yeah.
Or how long it's been in development. Is the hit and death reactions? It
Right.
sounds like they weren't like good enough, or weren't that, like, you know,
They weren't at the level of where they wanted to be.
Yeah, which is fine.
They specifically said that they wanted to make them more satisfying.
Yeah, so I'm assuming more satisfying when you kill them to feel good,
Yep.
obviously.
Oh, I love it when I die. Oh, it's the best feeling.
But that's cool, like, because when you actually like knife somebody or drop someone or whatever, you want it to feel like,
Yeah.
like how I felt when we were getting ready to talk about the news today.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
News!
Ugh!
This one I didn't think was as important, but the way they talked about it sounds really important, was combat signaling and the emote system.
Mhm.
So combat signaling, like, hey, come this way.
So
I don't know how
specifically
important
here,
it is.
They talk about an override or an additive system. What is
Yes.
that? What is that?
Well, okay, so
What
can
is
you
this, precious?
stop? I think it's, can you stop the current animation, or do you add to it to make it do what you want it to do? Do you stop an animation and start a new one, or do you add to the current animation to continue on with what you're trying to do? Like,
Oh, I
come over here,
see.
let's go over there.
So you're
or
running,
come over
and
here.
it overrides
stop.
the animation,
Let's
or
go
if
over
it
there.
adds to it. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what they mean, and I find that really interesting. I find that this is probably more 3.0 stuff, you would think, than
Yeah.
2.6 stuff, right? Is them
We
trying
want
to
to
figure out.
signal in game, especially if they've got no voice comms in game. You need to be able to go.
Yeah.
This guy's over here.
The problem
see
is I shouldn't have to type enter/signal enter
Yeah.
/ this.
No,
So
no,
hopefully
this
it'll be
will
Yeah,
be
it'll
happening.
be something you can key press with like your F keys when you're in FPS or something.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, that'd be fantastic. So I thought that was kind of interesting when he said that. I didn't notice that until today when I rewatched the show again,
Yeah.
that they were talking about the additive, so it's interesting because right now we just move and the emote stops, right? So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Pickups in AC are done. So the pickups of like when you kill a ship, it's very arcadey now. They're trying to make it a little more of an arcade game, Arena Commander. So it will drop like missiles. It will drop boosts and fuel and things like that. And so those the graphics or whatever are done, and now audio team's on it. And then he explained that when the audio team's on something, it's usually the last thing.
Yeah, it's the last thing before it goes out.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's cool. So I mean, I don't know. Every week it feels realistically close, and then it's not out. So I don't want to say it feels close, but it feels close now.
It does feel close.
Because the
said
blockers don't seem that big of a deal.
Well, the blockers he mentioned as well were in Vandal Swarm, the AI were getting placed on the wrong team, so
Yeah.
Warlord and Vixen weren't quite as trustworthy as they seemed.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
They were going against you, which is whatever. You just kill them.
A mysterious force pushed players away
This
when they
is
were trying
bad.
to enter their ships in the interior physics squids, and if you tried again, it would kill you.
Yeah.
Which is obviously
And we've been
major.
dealing with
that for a
something
while.
similar to that, but not killing. Like it seemed the way he made it sound like it was a guarantee that it would kill
Yeah,
you.
every time.
Yeah, so that's a big problem. And I could see a patch not coming out because of something like that. I would consider that a game-breaking bug.
Herald windows were opaque.
Yeah, you couldn't see out of
Game-breaking
them.
for the ship to come out,
Yeah.
for sure.
Which
No,
I think that's
freelanced
something that's like quickly fixed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that. And
It
then
depends what it is. It depends what the bug is. Like
Yeah.
grenades falling out of the hand, Mark Abent seemed to fix pretty quickly. But there's
Yeah.
some like odd cockpit bugs that they have eluded them till recently. So I mean, stuff that can seem huge can be tiny, minor, and easy, and stuff that
Yeah.
seems small can
Yeah,
be
that's
really
true.
fucking annoying.
Yeah, because what if they can't recreate it, even, or like once they recreate it, what if they can't figure out what's causing it? You know, it might take a lot more digging to find it than we really know. Again, the three of us, and I feel like we have to say this at least once a podcast. We don't work for the company. We're not game devs. None of us have ever made games. So a lot of the time
I've made some RPG Maker games. All right.
Yeah, so have
Okay.
I actually.
Okay.
We're game devs, mate. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
So why don't you go? Like, where's 2.6 then? Let's go.
I don't
go
work for
there.
CIG.
There was
2.6
another
happen.
blocker you didn't mention, which was there's still plenty of bugs to smash, including one where remote clients would see each other's player positioning with at least 1 second delay. Now
That's terrible. I
that
didn't
is the
even hear that.
major blocker. That was in the newsletter.
Okay.
Um,
That's a big problem. Yeah,
We're
but how long?
confident we can get these bugs resolved.
Maybe they have that fixed
experience.
already
Maybe, but
because he didn't mention it on ATV.
this is the big part. This is what we've kind of talked about and predicted in the past over the last few weeks, and similar
Yeah.
to issues that the original Star Marine had. And we always know that they're going to be trying to polish and fix the network code, and that this sort of stuff might not necessarily be a blocker because they might be able to bodge it to make it look like it's not got a delay and stuff like that. There's loads of hit reg and stuff. That game NS2 that I play regularly, there's loads of delay in that, but they make it look like there's not.
Yeah.
So it might not necessarily be a blocker. It might be simple. They might be able to reduce it significantly. But it does look to me like that is the most significant blocker.
Oh, that's a big issue, right? You know.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I've been optimistic the last few weeks, and then it's another week that we don't have it. So I don't know what to say this week because I do feel optimistic. Like based on that list, it seems like they're really close, right? Like they're saying, okay, they're going down to the very last polish of like the AC changes, right? With the drops, like that's a big change.
Are we thinking that and not to say bad of the man, are we saying that Chris Robertson might want it overly polished before released? Obviously, it's good that it's going to be polished. We need it polished. We need it to be great. But do we think
okay, I think who cares if the PU is polished?
Yeah.
Because it's not really a PU patch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, okay, put in the new additions to AC. If they're not that great, that's okay. But I think we've all been in agreement that StarMarine has to probably be pretty polished, right?
Yeah, it does. It has to be done right.
And that could be what's holding things up.
Yeah. But I think it's a reasonable thing. I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this patch in particular is reasonable to be polished. Do I think 3.0 is going to be polished when we get it? I think it's going to be a
janky mess.
I was just about to say I like it rough, but let me reconsider let me do some phrasing. I like it.
He likes it rough and planet-sized.
I like it when they release stuff earlier than when it's ready, sort of thing. I like that. I like being able to get feedback at that level.
And the reason that I feel that way about 3.0 is I really think they're going to need the concurrency to figure out like additional netcode things that they're unable to test without having tons of people slamming their servers, right?
You remember last year?
3.0 is when the new netcode stuff comes in.
When 2.0 came out near Christmas.
Yes.
And it was buggy as fuck, yeah?
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah. But I'm still glad they released it then and not.
Me too. It was
just saying
it was fun banging your head against the wall, and the thing is, and if they do 3.0 before the end of the year, it will be very similar in the sense that I will bang my head against the wall for a month straight. I don't care, because every minute extra that I get to play it, you get to see there's so much new, there's so much more to explore, right? And that's the same way that 2.0 was.
Achievement. Every extra minute you could drag before a crash is an achievement.
But even that, it's just there was so much more to show compared to what we had before when 2.0 came out, that 3.0 is a very similar patch to 2.0 was, right? Where it's just a massive amount of additional, if it's just art assets and not necessarily gameplay because of, or for whatever reasons, maybe, some things didn't make it in, or, network code or whatever reasons that it's just so difficult to play that all we can do is kind of look around and see what artwork they've done. That would be fantastic for me too. So I really hope it's before the end of the year, because that would be great to have over Christmas break, and while there's no real updates from them, we can just kind of hang out and enjoy. But I'd just be happy to get 2.6 before the end of the year at this point, right? Play some Arena Commander. That's the Arena Commander, some hopefully StarMarine.
It's a lot of content for us, 2.6, because it's repetitive content from Arena Commander and StarMarine that we can keep on playing, because people will be interested in that.
I actually think I would, we were kind of talking about this earlier, I think I would actually try to achieve some sort of leaderboard levels. Like I would actually try to play well in Arena Commander.
And you could get some great teams with your stream as well.
I would love to put together a team and do some squad battle and stuff like that. I think it'd be really fun.
Like that's one of the things I'm looking forward to most, is being able to do that.
Yeah, and it's not just, and like, I'm not just talking about StarMarine. It's I'm really actually interested in Arena Commander again because of this
semi-interested in Arena Commander. Yeah, I'm semi-interested in it. I'm definitely more into what StarMarine's going to bring to the table, but no, I agree with you still.
Yeah, just the little changes should hold us over. I don't know if it can hold us over until 3.0. If 3.0 doesn't come out by the end of the year, it's going to be a while, I feel like. So I hopefully it holds us over. So
I mean, so as far as I'm aware, with 3.0, it is done by a different team. They've been continuing to work on that while 2.6 has been worked on. So, and they haven't said it's not coming out at the end of the year. So I'm still holding on to hope that it will. I mean, I don't want to overhype anyone. I don't want to disappoint anyone. But I would say that maybe it will. Like 2.0 came out, it might be buggy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think we'd be okay with it.
Oh god, yeah. Especially with the PU stuff. PU stuff is allowed to be buggy as fuck.
Yep. Do you want to scroll back up to the top and talk about the room system? Yeah,
let's just go to the middle.
Yeah, let's just go all over the place in the dock. You started off with that. You thought it was pretty interesting. If you want to talk a bit about
it was cool. Oh, they had like, I don't have the dock up, so I can't see it, but
yeah, just talk about your feelings about it.
It made me feel warm and fuzzy, and
Mm.
it made me weird things happen to my body. No, so it's like the way that their door systems are shown in this make a lot more sense than how they're working now, right? Like if you can clip through the doors, it doesn't affect the atmosphere and stuff. Whereas if you did that with this, it would affect you.
It removes that exploit now. Right?
Yeah, even if they remove the clipping entirely and all that other stuff, which I'm sure they're going to do. Now, the other thing too is how you'll be able to lock out other parts of a station or a ship or whatever with these doors, based on if one room is providing oxygen and you lock those other rooms out. There's oxygen in that other room, and then it would deplete. Or if you vent it out to atmosphere, out to space, it just sucks everything out. And we've seen the animations for that previously. So it was really cool to sort of see them do everything with the different rooms and explain it all, and some of the things that they want to do with how the rooms work, and it makes it more of an actual system that's in place, and this is what they talk about with what they're talking about, building a strong foundation, and it takes a little bit longer to build that, but once that's done, then it's easy for them to just add rooms. They just add rooms to it, and they don't have to worry about, does this room have atmosphere or not?
Like, I know they're saying
it doesn't matter.
I know they're saying like it's in white box. Like, yes, it aesthetically doesn't look good, but they have stations, they have ships already done that do look good, and
it's just them plopping
like
the
system that he's
system
showing
in.
us is in good. It looks like it's in good standing. When he opens the door, it slowly depletes. And I think if you stay, like how he said, the blue is oxygen and the red is carbon dioxide. I'm assuming if like you turned off the oxygen flow and you stood in a room for hours, or multiple people stood in a room, that blue would eventually turn to red.
Yeah,
I like that for the idea of those life support.
Well, the other thing is they've talked about the amount of people that can be on a ship, right?
Yep.
So maybe for a short period of time, you can jump from one station to another with more than intended people on that ship, but you can't do something.
Saurus, you've boarded a ship by yourself or with one other guy. You're on quite a large ship.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to fight through these guys. I'm going to go sabotage their oxygen system. They're going to have to come and repair it. Pew, pew, pew! Stealth kills, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's such good gameplay. That's such good.
And the same goes with any
really interesting, right?
Any sort of like space stations as well.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is that's where like this becomes really interesting. Is it's not actually like, oh wow, you open a door and the oxygen goes out. Like, no shit. I'm glad they're doing it. That's awesome. But Chris actually talks about it a bit later. Like, what's really cool about this is, like, there's all sorts of different ways you can approach stations and ships now. You can go in guns blazing. You could turn off the lights and the power and go in stealthy. You could turn off the light support systems and flush them out like you were talking about. You can
blow out the windows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and vent them. Like the guy in the video kept saying, well, it adds more emerging gameplay, but didn't give any examples. And then Chris gave examples later in the ATV, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is actually way cooler than that video originally showed.
Did you see what stats were tracked with the atmosphere stuff?
So I saw it was oxygen.
Yep.
Do we have it? Is it in the code right at the top?
It's
on the bottom left.
Oxygen, pressure, and CO2. That's what I saw.
Where do you?
That's probably even more.
Bottom left? I don't see it.
Not where you paused it, because I'm watching it delayed. So if you go back a little bit, you might see it on the bottom left.
It's just in loads of text. You just have to look through the text.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's oxygen and its mass, carbon dioxide, its mass and its pressure. Its composition.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Composition
I love what they've done with
for each room.
Yeah.
The volume.
Because that means you can probably get realistic explosive decompressions.
And this is what I was going to mention. I think I put it.
Whether it's a slow leak or an explosive leak.
Yeah, because and also when let's say you turn life support systems back on, the oxygen will
take a while for it to come back in,
depending on the volume of the room. Which is cool because you're saying how big the room is, so it'll take a little longer to fill up with oxygen.
I just like
whatever.
the idea that it doesn't matter if it's venting to space. Opening 2 doors next to each other will even the pressure out in both rooms over time.
Yeah.
Like sort of like simulated diffusion kind of thing. But
very
I wonder how it
interesting.
works. Does the pressure pull it in, or does it push it? I want to know how they do it.
Maybe you can ask on the forums, and maybe this guy will answer.
I'm
'Cause that's
curious.
actually
Does the pressure pull it in like it does IRL? Like low pressure will pull in. You get wind.
Well, I think that's what they showed. If you remember a few ATVs back, when they were showing like the manual doors and the blowing out the windows and stuff like that, that pressure was pulling things outside, right? Like it was pulling those objects that weren't attached, like weren't physically attached to the walls or the floor. If it was just like a crate, they were like tumbling through and getting sucked out. And I wonder if they are going to do the same thing with the players or characters, if they're going to get sucked out as well. And if you're in your spacesuit, then you get to
I
EVA
hope so.
back in.
So yeah, I mean, I like the idea of you getting explosively decompressed, but it not killing you. Unless you're obviously not wearing the correct
Right.
gear, in which case, which will also be cool. Oh, can you imagine being on a capital ship and having to rush to get breathing gear on because the ship's depressurizing? That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Oh man. Okay, no, I'm. There's lots of stuff I'm looking forward to, and I'm glad they're not faking a lot of the stuff. Obviously, they're faking the airlocks at the moment. They said in that, where literally it's like a kill zone, and that's why people can glitch through without the suits on. But when that's real, when your character requires oxygen, I mean, do you think we're going to require certain oxygen levels to function, or we're slower? Like I'm only at 20% oxygen.
I think maybe you'll get a similar blackout animation how you do on the ship.
That would make the most sense, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So moving on to the Drake Buccaneer, I thought this was awesome. It was a white box ship, but they actually showed us a ship in white box. Do you remember the last time they showed the Caterpillar? Maybe
Dragonfly. I think they showed us in white box.
Dragonfly they showed us in white box. Caterpillar they showed us in white box.
Recent.
I don't know if they've showed us white box ships outside of LA.
I don't think they've had such sturdy pipelines as the Drake pipeline that they wanted to show us ships from. Obviously, Squadron 42's pipelines, they're probably fucking immaculate, but they don't want to share the ships.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But with the Buccaneer, which clearly isn't going to be in episode 1, and I will eat my words if it does appear there. Now, I like seeing this sort of thing because now we can see that with the white boxes, they just at the earliest stage they just grab it, make it sort of what they want, and then put the thrusters on it and then fly it around. And
yeah, they just want to see how it flies, right?
So then they can get a better idea of how to balance it. Let's make the wings smaller. Let's push this. Let's make this. Let's change this. And they got a load of work done and saved a lot of man hours by doing that. They worked out that they needed to retract the landing gear in such a way so that they could use the belly gun at all angles.
Right.
All
while it's landed.
What's cool about that is, while it's landed.
Yeah.
Is like you just mow people down. Like people are coming to on foot towards your ship, and you could just mow them down like Gatling gun style. I think that's pretty sweet.
Also mentioned on my channel, and I'm sure Matt will correct me if I need to be corrected here, that while there isn't an ejection seat, there will be other options for escaping quickly. What that means exactly, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But that's what he was mentioning.
Interesting. Do we know who's actually working on the ship? Because we know Josh Coons is on the Cutlass. So I wonder who's actually. Oh, it's probably Elwin, right?
Maybe.
Because Elwin's the one talking about the design.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Elwin and just team at LA.
Yeah, he says escape is not limited to just bail from the ship. A big part of the escape is also going to be knowing when to cut and run. But I'm also thinking, does that mean that there's going to be things that prevent interdiction with these ships?
I think there might be ways to protect yourself from interdiction to an extra level, but we don't know. We don't know.
There has to be, right? If there's a way to be interdicted, there has to be another.
It might be quite
way
hard
out.
to interdict. You might have to know exactly where they're going to come past. It might be a very short range. I mean, it could be lots of things. You could just kill the interdiction ship. Like in Eve, it's normally small, like tackling ships, which will stop you from warping away, which you kill and they stop, and then you can warp.
Nice. And there's Matt right there.
Yep.
So it sounds like what Matt was saying was that they're basically in white box. They're not balancing anything. It sounds to me like anything other than flight, how it flies, speed, maneuverability, strafing, boost, that kind of stuff. It sounds like that's where they nail down that stuff, and then they get into more details. Like they didn't even have the missile pods on there. They had weapons on there, but we didn't see the turret on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that level of balance for the actual weaponry would be redundant because they're going to balance towards beta.
I mean, they're doing a lot of balance now, aren't they?
Well, yes, but that ship's not going to be in Arena Commander now. So there's no need to balance it.
That's true.
Because all we do is, when you want to balance something like that, you just go, well, let's make the power plant smaller so that it's more restrictive of this. Let's change the pipes so that it can only plug on certain things. There's loads of mini things or big things that they can change.
I almost disagree with you, though, because a lot of the talk I don't think Matt said, I see that we're really going to get real balance at the end, towards beta. We're like true balance. Like, let's make this game as fair and balanced as possible. But a lot of the discussion was, this is Drake's answer to the Super Hornet. So Yes, I mean that's what what they mentioned. It needs it's Drake's answer to the Super Hornet.
They mentioned recently that it was Drake's answer to the Gladius, Hornet, and Saber.
Okay, combat ships.
Yeah. So their answer to it doesn't necessarily mean it's its equal, and it's going to be fast and sleek. But it's going to, once it gets a couple of hits, it's dead. It's going to be more fragile than that Saber.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's its answer, as in it's its equal, but it's going to
Drake's
have
offering at that class.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be the same ship, but it has to be able to have an enjoyable fight against one.
Yeah. It shouldn't be an open and shut case when they're fighting each other.
Right.
Yes.
It should be a fight.
Which there are a decent amount of open and shut cases against Sabers and Super Hornets.
You just don't like that meta Saber build, and neither do I.
I hate that meta Saber build.
I've been using it loads.
Me too, because how else do you compete?
Yeah.
The coolest thing, 28 thrusters on this ship, because that's what they talked about, it being really, really, really agile. And I don't think I've seen 28 thrusters on ships the size of, like, how many thrusters are on the Starfarer?
There's 28 thrusters on the Cutlass as well, on the new Cutlass.
On the new Cutlass, okay.
Yeah, and that Cutlass is a lot bigger, obviously.
Yeah. So maybe they're changing the way they do thrusters a little bit, but I remember seeing like 8 thrusters on original like concept art ships, 12.
Oh yeah.
And now there's double, right? So maybe they're figuring out
they need
that's
it
not
for
enough.
they need it for the ships to control the way they want them to. It's working off of real physics systems, right?
Yeah.
And so they need it. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of slide, or you're going to get a lot of whatever. But
Matt Sherman said, "Where'd you get that Cutlass count?"
It was said on the
monthly report.
No, it was said on. It might have just been said on Reddit. That might not be incorrect. There was the picture of the Cutlass and the concept Cutlass, and then on the post there as well, it was 28 thrusters.
Yeah.
Although that might have been calculated by someone on Reddit. Obviously, I'm not a game dev or able to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 28 is 2 mains and the 2 retros, which are also the big mains.
Yeah, it was 24 thrusters and then the 2. Because he even showed the retros when the fire came out, which was really cool. I don't know if they said it's all like work in progress. I don't know if that's what they want, like when the ship's actually done. But
I hope so.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It would make sense.
Right?
Reddit has never been wrong ever,
Yeah.
and it's more accurate than you'd believe.
Now, one question I wanted to ask you guys about this in particular is, we saw this with the... Okay, so I actually kind of forgot, so it makes this question a little more interesting, is we saw this type of thing with the Caterpillar. We saw the Caterpillar in the Caterpillar modules first, then the Caterpillar in white box, then we saw the Caterpillar again, and then I think we saw the Caterpillar again, and it was kind of like, okay, just give me the damn ship, I want to fly it, right? Do we like the fact that they're like showing it in white box, and then 4 weeks from now, I kind of expect to see an update on the progress of this. I think that's actually really cool, but I think it only works for small ships.
I think this is what we want, right? Is we want to see some of the more early work, and I think that's what they're trying to show, and it shows in this ATV, right? They're showing that room system without walls in there, right? To show how it works. They're showing the Buccaneer and stuff like that. So we're looking at earlier systems here.
And we're looking at gameplay, right?
We want to see,
Like even just those doors, it might not seem that interesting, but you can really think about some gameplay. And Matt, I don't know if Matt knew when he was doing it, but he kind of teased the new Cutlass a little bit. And Reddit went nuts, of course. I don't go on Reddit, so I don't know. But I know from other people like Bored telling me that Reddit say
I'd
things.
like to retract my earlier statement about the Cutlass having 28 thrusters. It's in my Buccaneer notes. And it's just that the Drake Cutlass rework mock-up art is also in the same notes. And I put Cutlass thrusters rather than Buccaneer thrusters. And as a paragon of news, I'd like to retract my earlier statement. Thanks, Matt, for keeping me real.
Yeah.
Keeping me honest.
So Matt is like just flying around the Buccaneer, and then there's some green boxes in the distance, and then all of a sudden the green boxes
just pops in. It's like the pop in is.
It was pretty cool, and then everybody paused it, and it was on Reddit and all that jazz, and I can't see anything. I can't tell a difference in the silhouette, but that's me. I'm blind.
Silhouette, what are we looking at?
I can.
We're looking at the Cutlass. Matt flies.
I can see the difference in the silhouette.
Okay,
it is a lot wider in the back.
Flew by the Cutlass in the Buccaneer video.
Yeah, I have a pause on it.
It just pops in.
On the.
Oh shit, son!
It's wider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot wider.
Yeah.
And it's like it looks like it's flatter and wider.
Yeah.
From the angle that we can see.
Oh yeah, I knew exactly what I'm doing. Smiley face. That's it. It's the little Easter eggs in ATV. It's pretty funny.
Is that what we're calling leaks now? We're calling them little Easter eggs. Oh, yeah. Good job, Matt.
Matt Lando. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how far along it is. I'm assuming it's in a very similar place as the Buccaneer.
Matt Lando or Disco Sherman?
I don't know. Matt Lando is it's quick. Think fuller than just wider. It won't have the weird W shape with the jutted out main engines like the current. The weird W shape with the jutted.
So what were the words to describe the new Cutlass? It was boarding, fighting, cargo, was it? Were those the three terms they used?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
So it can do those three things, and they're pretty equal across the board.
And I assume that it's going to be less agile than it was previously shown in videos. Obviously,
but more agile than it is now, probably, right? You would assume?
I don't know. I want it to be that heavier support ship for a pirate fleet. So it's able to fight because it's a little bit tanky. It's big. Mm-hmm. And it's able to pick up the cargo after your Buccaneers and your Dragonflies have gone in. And that sort of stuff. And it's able to use troops for boarding. So it's like that in-between ship in between the Buccaneer, Dragonfly, and the Caterpillar. So like,
yeah,
I like that idea because Drake are very much sort of like all their ships kind of support each other in a pirate fleet.
And that's the idea of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And before it scrolls away, Matt says, "Look at the Cutlass from the top down. The profile is more like a W. The rework, it'll be more like an H boxed shape."
Okay.
Trying to like picture it in my mind, but
yeah.
We've got that picture. Are we allowed to show that picture, the one I was talking about?
Which one? I
Yeah,
have no idea.
if you wanna post
Uh,
the link in
yeah.
the
Doc.
Are you talking about like the original concept?
No. It's the. God damn it! Bear with me 1 second. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. I mean, it's. I wonder how far along the Cutlass is. We're seeing the Buccaneer pretty quickly.
I think we're
Are
gonna
these two
see.
gonna drop at the same time?
I think we're gonna see
There
the
you go.
Cutlass on Friday.
Have a look at that
Where'd you put it?
in chat.
Oh, I can't see chat on this computer.
Yeah.
I'll link
have
it in the doc. I'll link it in the doc. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you do it in the doc. That's a good idea.
Put link here.
If you want a
There you
pure
go.
fighter, you can go
Thank
for
you.
the Buccaneer, or you can go for something that's not Drake.
So who
So-
did this mock-up? Somebody on Reddit, like took
Yes,
the
so we
silhouette
have
and made it.
My paragon of news sourcing Reddit. I'll link you the Reddit post actually as well. It's a good shout.
Pretty cool.
So there's the old Cutlass. I have that up on the screen now.
I think I wasn't. This
And they
an
think
Easter
this
egg
is what
about
it sort of looks like now, and this looks a lot more like what it looked like in that video, where the back was sort of wider and thicker. It didn't look like
Mhm.
those the connectors to the nacelles were so weak anymore. They looked a lot more solid.
Yeah.
And overall, it just looked like it took up more area.
So
So,
some
once
CIG
again-
people have commented because this is mock-up art based on the background glimpses that we saw.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some CIG people are saying that you are believing very accurately with that UFO shot that you have, stuff like that.
Cool.
So it's obviously just an assumption made by a Reddit viewer, but
And if we could get a comment from Mr. Sherman, that would be fantastic, being as he is working on the ship.
But I just like that I hope it still looks meaner, like the original concept
Yeah.
art. Like this mock-up, it's still. I
Well,
think
it does. If you look at the nose, no, obviously this is a Reddit mock-up, but if you look at the nose on the original Cutlass, one of the reasons it didn't look so mean was because of how big and bulky the cockpit was and how far out it stuck.
Mhm.
Whereas in the concept, it was in further, and if you look at the new mock-up, you can see that it's in further.
Yeah. And the wings are right
The
to
wings-
the left and right of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think Matt's quoting from the original $4 million stretch goal for the Cutlass and said, so it has the appearance of a military fighter, but mated with an awkwardly larger hull for
Mhm.
collecting loot. Kind of, I mean, this mock-up gives that to me, right? Sort of. The only thing is I don't see the fighter because I don't see wings really, but
Yeah.
on like the back end of it, you know. But,
Yeah, there's nothing outside of the front half that screams fighter. Like the front half,
yeah, the front half.
half screams fighter. The back half screams freighter.
Warthog, right? Yeah, and I guess that's the right way to do it.
And I think that's what they're.
That's what they're going for.
That's how I look at it.
Okay. You know what I like about these mod mics? I can move my head wherever I want, and I don't have to worry about
About
the volume.
the volume of it. Yeah, it follows you around.
Yeah.
You turn
Because I
around.
like got really close, and normally I would like whack into my mic.
What
or,
about if you wanna
oh
move
man,
your
people
head?
can't hear me.
head into your hand, then it gets quite loud.
Oh yeah, you don't want to eat the microphone. Rip everybody's speakers.
So now, maybe
Yeah, it's like somebody said it's like a space mullet, right?
Yeah.
It's party in the front, business in the back.
And I know we're sponsored by them and stuff, but like I honestly just realized that that's actually kind of a nice feature of it, of having a headset.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to move on to the more kind of salty-ish part?
the
Never
saltier
saw
spot.
it.
What?
Like they did the character section.
Mm-hmm.
It was super high production value. Certain parts of it were really cool. Like how did you feel about like them showing the then and now part? I thought the then and now part,
That was
yeah,
cool.
buddy.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Maybe fucking
Oh,
right. Maybe
We talking
maybe
about
they should've-
news?
Maybe they should have stopped it there. Because when they, like you said earlier, we've seen the PBR stuff.
Mhm.
Even I always forget his name. He's like a super enthusiastic kid. He seems really young, and he works on the project. He was in the Buccaneer section. I always
Not
forget his
Elwin,
name.
the other guy.
Not Elwin and not Matt, the other guy that spoke. I'm sure Matt will let us know. I feel
He
terrible not
also
remembering
came
his name.
from TNGS, right?
Yeah, I believe he did come
Yeah.
from TNGS, and he had talked about materials a long time ago, and basically it was the same exact thing that Forrest was showing us, but also the part that Daniel, I forgot his last name, but Dan.
Yep.
It was kind of cool, although what he showed us with the customization. How he turned the Nomad from like the colors that they had in the demo to like black and red and
That
stuff like
it
that.
just
I thought that
excites
was
me for like
character
armor,
customization.
yeah, and armor customization and ship customization and stuff when they show
Yeah.
that stuff. But that's not what I don't think that's what they're intending. You know,
Name's
they're
like
just
Dan Kamensky or something.
yeah,
That's
they're showing they're I think they're trying to explain, yeah, we can build and customize it our end really quickly. That doesn't necessarily mean we can customize it that quickly. Like if you look, oh man, this looks so bad. And then you look at
the then and now. It's so much better.
yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Now, the funny thing is the one that they showed then and now for the Sand Nomad, the then is the Light Outlaw.
Yeah. So are they planning on
They're changing the
Sand
Light
Nomads
Outlaw. Is the Sand
being
Nomad?
pirates?
Is the Sand Nomad the Light Outlaw?
No, they
Or
just
is
didn't
that
have any
gonna be-
early concept work of the Sand Nomad to show, because that was its early concept art that they showed at CitizenCon.
And maybe it's their best version of. Do you want to pause it here, Source, before they show the?
That was very much the first iteration of that
Ah,
Sand
never
Nomad.
mind. Got through.
What they did, they just went.
That delay though.
Yeah.
They said they only took 3 weeks to make it, so
Yeah.
they didn't have 2 years ago Sand Nomad.
Yeah. No, but
So-
I was wondering. I wonder if we would have seen the then and the now just regular pirate armor. Why not? Maybe like. Maybe they don't have anything for 2.6, as in like outlaw stuff. Because I'm assuming that we're still assuming that Star Marine is outlaws versus Marines, right?
Slavers versus.
Oh yeah, they called it slavers. Now are slavers the nomads?
No,
We don't know.
I don't think
Wait.
so.
You don't
We-
think so?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a speculation question.
Mhm.
What do you guys think
It could be.
that they'll be nomads? And like the way they showed that, the then and now, maybe. Oh, it's kind of
So-
interesting.
On Lear 3, that it's supposed to be not properly habitable.
Mhm.
And I think those Sand Nomads are literally just people that
Scavengers
live.
that were scavenging that
Yeah,
javelin.
they move around and they live out in the wrecks of they're like outlanders and like
Okay.
shunned and stuff. I don't think they're outlaws that are probably even space worthy. I bet they are constrained to that planet.
That would be sad.
Oh,
Cool.
Aww.
But they look so cool. I want to see
Yeah.
more of them.
they look a little bit like Fremen. They look a little bit inspired by Dune. So did
Yeah.
that giant sandworm and the planet.
Yeah.
And the planet and the whole environment, and maybe it's a
Yeah.
dune planet.
The best part of this, I don't like the best part of this section was seeing Jeremiah Lee like draw it with fucking crayon basically in the beginning. They showed the very beginning of the Sand Nomad.
Yeah, right here.
And the
with
2D
the
concept
tablet.
art and how important it is.
Yep. And
Yeah.
like that's what he does, and it's cool. Just like I don't know, it's starting it because of CitizenCon and because of Matt and Jeremiah always being here in the podcast, you start having like I feel like we're kind of friends now, so then you get like proud of your friend's work a little bit, right? So you
Yeah.
you see Matt on the
Oh,
show,
for sure.
and I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. It's Matt.
Wait.
He's doing awesome. Jeremiah, look at what he did, and look where it's come.
Yeah.
You know,
When they first show him colouring it in and starting it, I went, I can fucking do that 2D art. I can
yeah,
fucking
and then
do
you
that 2D
show
art."
the last part, and you're like,
Nah.
I can't do that.
Nope. Yeah. I did like
cool.
them showing how that literally just the changes in the colors of the cloth and the armor make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's massive when they put the red in and stuff. And those different shaders that they're using for the different materials, it is beautiful, that pipeline they've got.
Yep. And just to like go back to what I was saying before, I think we talk about a lot of the downfalls of open development with Star Citizen, and this is definitely one of the fucking awesome things about open development is like those guys hung out after the event and like had some drinks, ate some food, talked about what they're doing, and hung out, and it wasn't fake.
Yeah.
They wanted to do that. They enjoyed that part. And that is like one of the greatest things about this project and open development in general. Like a lot of the times we get on this podcast and are like, God damn it, open development's frustrating sometimes, right? Like, man, we want the game to come out now.
But
that's one of the really cool things.
It's that frustration, but that also joy and that openness of the developers like Brian Chambers to come to fan meetups and drink with you. That's just great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're not always talking about the game. They're like generally interested in you as people. And it's just it's cool. It's cool. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say about this section of the show. It was long.
I hope that what we see from them being able to customize things with the materials and everything, that we get that customization as well.
I agree.
Well, so
I agree.
How much time do you think they've spent on making these tools not only user-friendly, because obviously
it
they're
seems
quite
really user-friendly. You just like clicks a button and goes, right?
but also, how much time do you think they've made them video-friendly for us, if you see what I mean?
What do you mean by video-friendly?
So video-friendly literally so they can be recorded on Around the Verse. Do you think these are literally the tools as they are and they haven't spent any time making them prettified for YouTube? Or do you think that there's a little bit of extra effort that's gone in there to go, well, these tool sets need to look good when we film them?
No,
I don't think so. No.
I think as far as like game development stuff, they're not doing any optimizations for their videos so they look good. I think this whatever production they're doing now, like that we're seeing these like really very professional style production every now and then, especially from the LA office. I think that's where the step up is coming from.
I think it was confirmed that the stand nomads are probably human as well as next to their hands.
And I think with the modeling and stuff, those aren't their internal tools. Those are things like 3D Studio Max or ZBrush or Maya or whatever. Yeah, Lightwave and whatever.
But was something that you missed? I think you missed anyway.
I skipped out a lot of that stuff.
The creatures and animals of Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I wrote bugs. I just wrote bugs.
That could be part of any part of Star Citizen. That could be literally part of anything.
I even capitalized it.
Where was that?
Because then I figured we'd know what to talk about. I wouldn't have to say anything other than that.
Because this character pipeline is not just used for bipedal NPC humans. And
right now I have the sandworm up.
It's ODE.
Mm-hmm.
It's used for animals as well. The pipeline is shared between anything that moves, I think, that's living and moves.
Yeah,
I love this little program. I don't know which one this is. The one that's like clay.
Yeah, this.
And they're just like pulling on things.
I think
this is ZBrush. This is ZBrush. Yeah, it is. What's really cool, and I'm not really sure here. I'm gonna go back here. Is this dragonfly, for example? We don't know how big that is.
No, that could be tiny. That could be massive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How long do you guys think it is? Or how big do you guys think it is?
No idea. No idea.
I think it's probably a large bug. I don't think it's huge. I think it's just like a big mosquito.
I think it could be player-sized.
Look at this chitin. So it's not as detailed as the sandworms was. And I know they're detailing it there. But it could be any size, isn't it? It's
got to be big. Because why would it be an actual size of a fly? Why would you put that much detail into that?
I don't think insects of certain sizes can fly particularly well with that like wing structure. Like quite literally.
Well, it depends on the atmosphere.
Does depend on the atmosphere,
right? Like,
and
like,
also it's.
I think it was said that like when they put insects of certain types in high oxygen environments, they get much larger.
It carries the sandworms.
High oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes. I think that goes for all animals, right? I think like there's bigger animals in the Pacific Ocean because it has higher levels of oxygen than in the Atlantic Ocean, or something.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But I remember watching
And like
a
that's why
documentary on that.
dinosaurs were so big.
That's why they were so
or some
big, because
shit.
there was oxygen was more abundant.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Mm.
maybe it'll be. I think it's gonna be big. Like
Why
it seems like
Why
there's
is
the
called me
same
out?
level of detail going into it as in the sandworm. Now that doesn't mean it's sandworm size, but it could be human size. I bet you it'll shoot guns and stuff too. Bet you they got their own weapons.
That's the Devarin.
It's got, dude. It
It's
melts.
the Tavarin.
It melts chain guns underneath its wings.
Oh my god.
Commander Riker just called me Twerk Cousteau. Jesus Christ. Why did I choose this name? I don't know sometimes. I wonder. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see that they're thinking about that stuff, right? So I wonder if that's like another 3.0 asset that is going to add to like it just makes 3.0 more exciting. Whether it's going to be in 3.0 or not doesn't matter. It's just one of those things that like, well, they're working on it. So what's in their mind right now? I want to know what's in their head.
Lysiana has said she thinks that it's big too. Otherwise, why that level of detail?
Yeah.
Because Star Citizen.
Yeah. I mean, they put level of detail in the barrel of guns.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's why it's still a
rifling.
question.
They have real rifling in their guns.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So it's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I really had in the dock for today. So
That's
it was
okay.
a bit of a slow week. We did see Bug Smashers. I don't know if we showed Bug Smashers.
We
on
want to
last week.
speculate a little bit on Friday. Now we're not getting ATV
Oh,
or
yes,
reverse
yes.
the verse this week. So next week's
Oh, no.
podcast will definitely be covering.
If only we could talk about some form of ship that might be on sale or a race that might be shown.
Well, they're gonna. We know the.
Do you think they're going to show the
Oh, it's
race
the Polaris. It's not the Polaris.
or the style guide and things like that for the Tavarin?
So the Xperia
if
Prowler.
they're gonna show the ship, they better. I really hope they show the race.
So they have to have that Tavarin at least nailed down in rough now.
Metric wise, right?
Yeah. So that
Maybe?
they have to have a style guide for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope they show that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Now, here's one thing I wanted to talk about specifically, and I don't think we talked about it much with the sale price of the ship that we definitely talked about last week. Was okay. It's $425. It's too much money. I think we all know that it's overpriced. Now, there's that. It's going to have the Asperia tax, whatever. But one thing that made a lot of sense to me was they have not done a limited number ship sale in a long time.
I don't
And
think
maybe
they're
it's
doing them
because-
anymore.
Exactly. So that's where I'm going with this, is maybe because we hated it. But that doesn't change the fact that they still want ships to be rare. And how else can you make a ship rare than making it overpriced?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it sucks. I want that damn ship because I want to have I want to kind of have at least one ship from each alien. But
Yeah. For me,
I mean,
for
it's
me,
gotta be rare. They want it to be rare. It's an Asperia ship. How else do you make it rare other than making it, well, a little pricier than they must have metrics. I bet you they have metrics like this price sells like X percentage, and if we go above that, we're gonna get this percentage. I know they have pretty good internal metrics or whatever with that stuff. That they must know something like, I bet you it'll be this cheap.
You got to
Or
remember
it'll
it's
be
going to
this
be
limited if
competing.
we sell for that price.
So this ship's going to be competing with other ships that are going to be on sale simultaneously.
That's true as well, right? Like I'm still every sale that the damn Reclaimer goes on sale, I debate it.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Asperia Prowler is the least sold ship during a sale. That would not surprise me because of its price tag and because of when it's going on sale.
It wouldn't
with
surprise
so
me
many
if
other
it was the most sold ship either, right?
Oh,
like at the same time, we know this community. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the most sold ship
No,
as well.
I think it will be a huge sale period for Star Citizen. I think it'll be the last time we're going to be able to get certain ships before
don't
they go up in
think-
price, like
I
Caterpillar
don't think
and
it's
stuff like
going to be a
that.
huge sale. I think that there's a lot of people that are disenfranchised right now, that aren't or have spent what they want to spend, and you may see people melting ships for this, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of new money coming in, especially for the larger ships that are happening, right? I think
I agree, but did we not
Mhm.
say that about the Prowler or the
Polaris.
Well,
Polaris?
the thing is with the Polaris is that's when they were showing a bunch of new content. They'd shown a bunch of new stuff at Gamescom. They'd shown a bunch of new stuff at CitizenCon.
It was before they showed it
A-
because
and
they
it was
showed
it was a non-limited
the
capital
pre-sale.
ship. It's a very specific thing that people
Yeah.
are going a bit crazy for.
but it
Like
was
Cat-
$700.
Yeah.
$750.
Yeah,
You underpriced that,
and-
Twerk.
Well,
No,
it
but,
was
like, the
675,
discounted
wasn't it?
price. Yeah, the discounted price was around 700. I don't remember what it was off
Okay.
the top of my head,
Mhm.
but that's a lot more than 425 too, and they made
is.
that was one of their best sales.
It is. Yeah, I think.
So like I totally agree with you, but they surprised me last time. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
And
we'll have to
it's
wait
a-
and see, but
it's
I
an
just
alien race we've never seen. I think it's
Mhm.
gonna. I think the level of hype is gonna make the ship sell more than it probably should. Is my
Yeah, if they've
my
got like a
thought on it.
design document on boarding, if they show capital ships, like if they go, oh, we've got the Bengal, the Javelin, and the Idris nearly done, because that's what they said in the monthly report.
Yeah.
If they show stuff like that at the anniversary live stream, if they show the internals of that, if they show some like mocked up battle or whatever, and then go, oh, what do you need for these kind of battles? You need boarding ships like the Tavaran Prowler and
Bam.
stuff like that. Then
Yeah.
maybe it would be huge, but it's just such an expensive ship, and well, I suppose we can't really have too much of an opinion on it until we see it. We can't
Mhm.
say it's going to be shit or
we don't know how big it is. We don't know what its crew size is. We don't know
Nope.
anything.
Tavaran did lose the war though, so they can't be that good.
and to pitiful old humans. But oh damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. So we know it starts at 1:00. Do we know how long it's gonna go for?
No, but generally these goes for
3 hours
go
last year,
for
wasn't it?
2 or 3 hours. These
I wonder,
these
are-
live
since
streams
it's
are
based on
usually
ships-
longer than Gamescom or CitizenCon.
Yeah,
They don't
'cause they
normally
went to
do
each
massive
office.
reveals though either, do they? These ones
No,
aren't
not-
massive reveals.
Not typically. I mean, they showed us the star map last time. I would say that's a pretty massive reveal.
that was Citizen. Oh, they showed us more.
That
of
was the
stuff.
live stream.
Yeah,
They
So
showed the
I-
initial mock-up of the star map.
I
on
imagine
the
we'll
live-
see more of Spectrum. I think we have the potential, although I'm not counting on it, for StarMarine and Squadron 42. We're probably going to see the Dragonfly, the Herald, the Caterpillar, maybe more of the Buccaneer. We're going to see a lot of the Drake ships for sure.
I think we're definitely going to see the Herald. They showed the Herald on Twitter.
Yeah, are we going to see the
Today.
Tavaran race and style guide and maybe some of their buildings?
I hope so.
Do you think?
I really do. I
Or more
think
landing zones or planet side tech?
it depends obviously if it's done or not, if they're happy with it, but it has to be their goal to show the ship along with it maybe not the style guide necessarily, but
Mhm.
showing what a Tavaran looks like. We haven't known what a Tavaran looks like for so long.
Yeah, it'll be
You know?
the first alien race that we've seen outside of the Banu and the
Vandal.
Vandul, right?
And
Yeah.
We've seen Xi'an as well.
Yeah, they look like turtles.
Yeah, I like turtles.
I like turtles. But I feel like that has to be their intention. Now, whether it's done or not is a whole nother story. And then Recon Up says, if only I could see the Microtech landing zone. That would be really cool if they took some time out. I know they said it's going to be mostly ships. Maybe that'll be something for the December live stream to show us a lot more of those landing zones and how far along they are on them. Because we saw concept art in the monthly report, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're talking about this live stream, but the December one, whether 3.0 comes out by the end of the year or not, it would be cool to see some of the progress on it. So maybe that's something more for December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe another Morrow tour? Would that be considered a ship thing?
So I think that
Updated
Morrow
Morrow
tour
tour?
is part of that vertical slice of Squadron 42 that we had
Okay.
missing from CitizenCon.
Yeah.
And
I still believe that's a December thing.
well, it depends on what they prioritize, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
I'm
fully
hoping.
believe that, and that's why I believe it's a December thing, because it was a priority pre-CitizenCon, but right now, 2.6 is the priority. So I feel like the vertical slice has been less of a priority now because 2.6 is such a priority that I
think it's a totally different team.
And what are you guys' thoughts on
I
us?
think they pulled people off.
Us seeing the Idris, us seeing the Javelin.
I don't care. I don't know why.
I don't really.
care
I don't.
about
That's
that.
not what I'm asking. I don't give a shit about those ships either.
Oh,
But
okay. I thought that's what you were.
no, I'm asking if you think we're gonna see them on Friday.
Yes,
I do.
I do believe.
And the Bengal. I think we're going to see I'm hoping that we get to see a lot of them, and I'm hoping we get to see a battle between two of them or something like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see boarding. I want to see fighting. I want to see something like that. I loved it when they showed us the Bengal, when they showed us the interior of it.
What about
really
more
cool. I
of
do
the
care, but I don't
more
have
of the shipwrecks, like the larger shipwrecks? Do you think we're gonna see more of that?
I hope we see them. Maybe they'll show them in space. That'll be more ship based.
Yeah.
I like the shipwrecks, but I want to see the live ships. I want to see that hustle and bustle. I want to see
face, though.
Yeah.
the living, breathing thing.
Yes, like people on shields, people on radar.
People living their lives. People being janitors. People eating in the mess hall. People getting sucked out an airlock that opens. Oh, yeah.
And I still think that could be a ship's reveal, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
I think that'd be cool to see. But yeah, I think that's really what we're going to see. We're definitely going to see the ship. I hope we see the Tavarin. I think we're going to see the big ships. I hope you're right about seeing more of Spectrum, because they kind of said, hey, hopefully by the end of the year. But I don't really have much else.
It's not really like maybe some new armor sets, maybe some new weapons, character stuff, or customization. Anything else on the website that they're doing? It's all just Spectrum, right? That's
Spectrum's the big change to the website. So
So Spectrum, and then the website slowly getting phased out shop-wise. They want less and less on the website. Basically.
Ooh, if they're getting phased out shop-wise, maybe they show us ship buying, ship purchasing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's a feature that comes into 2.6 that we don't really know about.
Yeah, and a little bit more with
that would be sick.
With like Dumper's Depot and
they
stuff.
They talked about it in monthly report, right? A little bit.
Yeah, they did.
They talked about the kiosk. Oh, that'd be sick. I don't think we'll see that, but oh man, I've talked about this on my stream that the kiosk being a thing is so important because, and I think we talked about it on the podcast last week actually, where
we need it for buying goods as well, don't we?
Buying goods and buying ships. Once you can buy ships in game, it's over. It's all the whole. Why is that package $15,000? It's over and done with. That whole fucking thing is done. And then honestly, does the current state of 2.5, like if you just threw a kiosk and threw Astro Armada somewhere in Crusader, doesn't that kind of change the whole thing of 2.5? Even if, let's say they just gave us that, you have something to work towards now.
Yeah.
Because then you set ship prices really high and you just do missions and you earn it.
Yeah.
You just earn, and it's actually worth the grind.
And then you're getting more people in, playing longer, playing for a purpose. Because after you buy your weapons, your armor, that's it. There's no reason to have UEC.
Yeah.
And you start to amass. Like I think I'm at close to 1 million now again. And it's like, and that's just from this, and that's not even that's not even trying to collect it. That's just from it is a byproduct. So it's like, how do you make it so people are doing stuff and doing all that and pushing it even more and getting on a regular basis and pushing those servers.
You need a reason for people to spend money and need to make money to spend it.
Yeah, and
because
they have that algorithm, right?
Well, they do, don't they? They've been
Yeah.
talking about that. That's part of in the monthly report.
But
edition
even
13.
if they didn't have the algorithm, them just throwing it in and just putting in
Setting prices, fuck
setting
it. Yeah.
prices, it's irrelevant for the first implementation.
Yeah, as long as that you click buy and you have it, you know, to load it up, and then you can try, and each patch it'll reset or whatever. But who cares? It's something to work towards. It's cool. So
It was Trade Slayer and Price Fixer. So
yeah,
Trade
Price
Slayer,
Fixer was the one, right?
Trade Slayer is the end-to-end economic model of how an item gets from being mined and ground into little components to being placed on a store shelf. And Price Fixer is generating in-game values based on the characteristics and component cost for each individual item, which should dynamically change, I believe.
Yeah.
And
And
they talk
Magnetron
about
said,
the shipping.
have fun playing with all your ships, but no goal in the game. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is we don't have, like, we're playing in a test bed, so we don't really have.
We don't even have a
goals and-
goal now. And the thing is
but
the
that
goals could
ships
be the
become
ships.
goal then.
Yeah.
Exactly. So ships could be the goal for now until we get 3.0, where they're actually
So
will be
do
mission
you
systems.
save up all the way until you can afford a Starfire Gemini, or do you stop and get a Super Hornet on the way, and then
Or do you play 24 hours a day and get all the ships?
Yeah.
You know?
So
Yeah. So I think that would be a really big surprise, but probably the most pleasant one if they did that. I don't know, because they said kiosk mock-ups, but it'd be sweet. It'd be so sweet. So we'll
but
see.
yeah, let's jump into some questions.
Let's do it.
If you guys have any other questions, !question in chat, make sure to click on the link and submit your question there. Our
Fill out
first
that
one is from P. Gillings, and he asks, when the ability to buy ship ends at release and you can only purchase the game proper, how will it affect your stream's promotions? What stream's promotions?
I think he means the referrals.
No, I think he probably means giving away like a Banu Merchantman.
I kind of talked about that. Yeah, it won't be as much of a thing, but
But
You could still
We
gift
could give
things
away-
in game.
yeah,
yeah, but we could also give away packages for the game packages.
Yeah.
Have a copy of Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
and you don't really
Possibly,
have to do them anymore.
you can probably even give away UEC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly, I
There's
don't,
all kinds
don't know
of
how that
stuff you
system's
could
going to
do.
work.
Give away
Yeah,
armor,
really
you
tough.
give away weapons, you give away in-game items.
And I look at it how in the sense that you don't really have to give away anything. The reason
Yeah.
that, and I
Oh,
like
no,
doing
my stream's
giveaways,
shit.
of course, but the thing about it is we typically do the giveaways because yes, the ships are really expensive, and we're able to get a ship that somebody would never have been able to afford to purchase or would never have gone out of their way to purchase, and then they can get them now. I think, yes, it won't affect our promotions. It will affect our promotions, perhaps, but it also affects. I mean, one of the things that we really like doing, I think, is promoting the game and making it like helping bring more people to the game because we want to play with more people. We want this game to be successful.
Mhm.
I think the three of us all do, and the fact that not selling ships.
The
will
other
make
thing
it
too is
easier
like,
to help promote the game.
we won't need to promote as much on that side of things, right? Like right now we do that to bring in new people. We bring in people that are interested in the game and on the fence or haven't checked it out yet or whatever, and that's why I do them. That's the whole purpose to do it, is to build the community and get more people interested in the Star Citizen. When the game is out, that's on CIG to be promoting the game, and then we'll be just playing a game just like any other stream. I think that we do, like, as Star Citizen in general, I think you see a lot of channels doing that promotion thing because that's really the best way to bring in new people right now. But we won't need to do that to bring in more people later on.
We'll probably end up giving like graphics cards away and things like
Not
that.
even. I don't think giveaways are necessary at that point, even at all. That's not saying people won't do them, and there still won't be different promotions like the one that I have for my DX Racer or a graphics card here and there. But you're not going to see the same intensity of them by any stretch of the imagination. It's number one, it's not something that's renewable and is able to do long term. And number two is it's just not necessary. It won't be necessary when the game is out and people are actually playing it and people are interested in it. Right now, a large percentage of the people who own the game don't even watch the streams, don't even watch the YouTube videos, don't give a fuck about the game until it's in beta or until it's released. And for the content creators, you know, what's the point of making content if there's not people that want to watch it? So for us, it's attracting new people and bringing new people in with those promotions, and that's why it's called promotions.
Do you think that CIG will still sell new concept ships?
No.
After the game's released.
No, I hope not. I hope not.
I hope not either.
I think they're
Game
gonna have starter packages ranging from an Aurora or a Mustang all the way up to a Constellation, the basic ships that they have now for game packages. But I don't think we're gonna see any niche ships or anything like that sold. I hope not, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be them seriously going out back on their word then.
I don't mind them after the game's released creating new ships and then concept selling them.
I don't think it's relevant for them to be concept selling. I think that all the profit that they make from selling the game once the game is released is pure profit. And I don't think that it should be necessary for them to sell it. And to be completely honest, unless they're having, unless they're having issues paying for their servers or something like that, I really, really don't think it's necessary. That's sort of where I stand with that. And that goes the same for armor, that goes the same for weapons. It should just be that, hey, this is what we're working on, they show it, and then when it's ready, they put it into the fucking game. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Why would you sell it? Why would you sell it, and why would you buy it if as soon as you can fly it, it's in the game anyways? It doesn't make sense for them to sell it. You can't do anything before it comes in the game anyways, so you might as well just earn it. Right? And by that time, people are going to be stockpiling UEC or finding other ways to be acquiring ships anyway. So spending real money on it, I don't think makes sense. I think the only thing they're going to be selling for real money is going to be the UEC, like they've said.
And because the squadrons, and then who knows, maybe like expansions.
Because what are they going to do? Are they going to limit those ships to only people who purchase them? That's really fucking shady.
No, they can't. They can't do
they
that.
Can't.
Never be played to win.
Why would they? Why would they sell? They wouldn't sell them.
Do it post release. Then
they wouldn't. They wouldn't be able to.
You decidedly get
no,
it.
because
okay.
But you're missing my point. You can't earn the ships right now in game. You will be able to earn the ships immediately as soon as they're flyable in game. They're in the game. That's it. They're done. The systems are there to purchase the ships or acquire them or steal them or whatever. So why would you purchase them when you could just use the UEC that you've saved up knowing that ship's coming out?
Oh, I see what you mean. You can actually just literally buy it in game.
Yeah, you buy it in game with in-game currency. And it's not like if they were to sell the game the ship for money and put it in the game for those backers that spend it for money, but you can't buy it with in-game currency, that's really fucking shady.
I suppose, yeah, it makes it really hard for them to. They wouldn't be able to do that then because people would just be able to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they can ever do this ship's on sale and you can only buy it with real money.
No, because you can't do anything with it anyways. You can't do anything with it until it's in the game.
Taurus. Why are you getting so mad about this?
I'm not. I'm just.
You're intense right now.
He's explaining a very valid point, actually.
No,
I just want to make sure it's really clear.
But we've talked about this before. Out of anything we discussed today, this was the last thing I would have thought Source would have been hyped up about. I'm trying to break the ice here a little bit.
I love the news.
I'm trying to break the ice a little bit. That's all.
No, I'm good. I'm just enthusiastic about it, and I just want to make sure it's clear. I think that it's important that if we're going to speculate on things, that we speculate on things that at least make sense. And I don't think that, and I just want to get it across. No, I know. But I just want to make sure. But you're missing what I'm saying. I want to make sure that when we are speculating about stuff, like if BoredGamer says, "Oh, maybe they could," and I'd be okay with it. I just want to make it really clear. Yeah, I want to smack you down and say, "Look, this is why it doesn't make any sense." That's all.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And if I do the same thing, I expect you guys to do the same to me. Right?
Do, don't worry. You just do it behind your back.
I'm one day I'll yell.
No,
I'm not yelling.
You mean,
Do you think I'm yelling?
also,
You were yelling.
I'm not yelling.
also-
I'm
Go
not
look
close
at
to
the
yelling.
VOD later.
This sort of thing
It was,
is important.
It was
to put your-
funny. The whole
put your
chat
foot
was what
down in
facing.
development so people know that it's not okay. So that you can go, no, they can't do that because they said they wouldn't, and this is why. And that's fine, because I was very much in the opinion, I don't care. Obviously, you weren't in that opinion. You were in the opinion of, no.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
Love you guys. BoredGamerUK asks, what non-combat activities in Star Citizen are you excited for?
Is that all of them for you, Spencerus?
I guess that's all of them. All of them equally. I mean, I'll try everything, but there's nothing really I'm super excited. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm really excited to go mining, because I'm not. I'll still do it.
That's a combat activity for you, isn't it? Killing miners.
Mining players.
That's it.
Mining players.
Most of your stuff will be combat, I'm assuming, but
a lot of it will be planning. I think a lot of planning and things like that will be in setting things up. I mean, it's directly related to combat, but isn't the combat itself. So I'm really excited for that.
That's actually a really good answer to that for you. The lead up to battles and stuff like that.
The tactical the tactical planning of things.
That'd be cool.
You guys?
Oh, sorry. I thought for some reason it was directly directed at you.
Nope.
I think we say it every week when people ask us. I'm definitely interested in mining.
But
for sure.
I do think mining is going to be a little bit combat orientated because there's going to be filthy pirates around trying to steal our precious ore.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't call it combat oriented. I mean, there'll be a side effect of that, but I don't think that's the main focus.
I don't think every time you
it's
go
like
out
space
and
trucking
mine,
or
yeah,
like anything else.
I don't think every time you go out and mine, you're not going to necessarily get involved in combat. But every time you seek to go out in combat, you might most likely will get in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And bored?
I mean, it's probably mining again for me.
Yeah.
But any form of industry, to be honest now, I'm starting to get really pumped for industry. Not so much cargo hauling, but science.
It depends on how they do it.
It does.
If they do it like Elite, no interest.
I mean, how can you make cargo hauling interesting? You can make the brand new sort of like bizarre thing interesting.
But I wouldn't call that cargo hauling then. That would be like the Caterpillar having its shops on it and doing.
Here's how you make it interesting, maybe.
Okay.
Go here, but you have to go here and pick up items. But you don't just go there and pick up the items like automatically. You have to go through.
Well,
interesting.
We definitely know that there's loading
type.
and unloading of things. It's not done automatically, right?
So are you thinking of like?
I think it will automatically be done. Remember the cargo update?
Well, I don't think they'll just pop in and out.
I think they will.
What about
we disagree 100% on that.
Genesis type gameplay for cargo? So cargo that you've got to pick up at a certain time, drop off at certain times, and also you have to look after the cargo on the way. So maybe it's animals, maybe it's some form of perishable, maybe it's cargo that comes loose.
Going back to that, Twerk, really quickly, why is it that you think it's just going to pop in and out?
Because that's exactly what they said on ATV during the cargo update.
3.0, that is what they're going to do with cargo.
Yeah. For 3.0, I'm talking about the final game.
I'm talking about the final game. No, you're gonna fucking move it in with the the little space thingies. Yeah, all that stuff.
I was talking about. No, it says what non-combat activities in Star Citizen are you excited for? I don't think there's that first implementation. I think that I look at that question as the final when the game is gold.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be like that. It wouldn't just pop in then.
Yeah.
But no, mining, anything. Just me and Bored are very similar on our interests with the game being economy based. Hanging out, relaxing, doing some non-combat-y, not necessarily like super intense face stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A little more laid back, a little more relaxed.
Yeah, I mean,
Even though
I
it
like-
still could be intense, it won't be.
I like that
The
little sort of like gambling
emoji.
of maybe I could find an amazing mineral vein.
Yes.
A little bit of that.
Or maybe I can explore and find something really rare or whatever, you know?
man.
Salvage
Mhm.
something really rare.
I don't.
want them minerals.
I see people are saying that my mic is louder than the other guys, but I'm looking at my levels and they are significantly louder than me. So I don't know what to do at that point. So you guys are just gonna have to deal with it at this point.
It's alright, just be louder.
We'll just yell at her, or I'll put my mic a little closer to my mouth. How's right here?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are loud to me, so. Our next question's from Cataphor. He said last week he asked about bonds and stocks, but I was wondering, do you think organizations will be able to purchase or rent a building and set some sort of headquarters, and then buy assets to the building organization, like landing zones, throw out missions in the universe, etc.?
I really hope so.
we
Long
know-
term, but I don't know.
Well, we know they're doing org hangars. And so there's your organization buildings. And we know that people are going to be able to set missions. And why wouldn't you be able to set a mission as an organization? So, I
don't
mean,
know, like,
you would, yeah.
they also told us we were going to have people walking around our hangars, our personal hangars by now. So what if that's changed?
And once again, we're talking about final game. We're not talking about when it's coming in.
Okay, final game. I still don't think the sense that I get from Chris, final game wise, is that whole factory node thing, and a player owning it.
I'm not. We're not.
Does
He's not
he seem
asking that. He's asking
But
organization
he
buildings.
is, because it's
And I'm
owning
saying
a
organization
building.
or hangars are
It's
going to
the
be a
same
thing.
It's the same
It's
thing.
not the same thing.
Okay. Now it's my turn to yell. It's the same fucking thing. You own a fucking building. Whether you're an org that owns a building or a player that owns a building, it's the same fucking thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So it's the same thing. And Chris, they've just been fucking silent about it. So I don't know. I'm not yelling, guys.
But we have
I'm not yelling.
hangars. We have hangars.
We have.
They've said
he
we're
said
getting org hangars.
buildings,
Lola, make him chill out.
organization buildings, a big fucking building.
What is a
we can
hangar?
Add stuff to. It's not a building. He's talking about a big fucking tall skyscraper. He's not talking about hangars. He's talking about buildings. And they've been quiet about it. And I'm not seeing that happening anymore. And they haven't retracted anything, but they've been completely dismissive or like not talking about it. And that scares me because that's something that I was really excited about. Yeah. Oh, and CIG Sherman, this is fucking something huge. Hangars aren't something you're choosing the placement also. So that was something a long time ago, Matt, I thought was a thing. Like we chose where we were going to start.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of new little tidbit.
What's his exact wording of that?
His exact wording are hangars aren't something you're choosing the placement of also.
Hangars aren't the choosing the placement of, but maybe we can choose what hangars we go in.
To me, basically what I'm saying is I'm not talking about a fucking condo building or an apartment building or whatever.
That's
I'm talking about. Is it though?
Yes. Read the question again. Maybe I misunderstood it, but
I was wondering, do you think organizations will be able to purchase or rent a building and set up some sort of headquarters there? That's an organization hangar. That's what it is.
Trump Tower is fucking headquarters. That's what, like, that's Trump's that's
your hangar is your headquarters. Is it not?
No, it's where you keep your fucking ships.
Yeah, but
then what is the purpose of all the room systems and everything else that's going into the hangars?
You could have a.
Are they even going to the hangars anymore? Or are the room systems just for the fucking stations?
What are you two arguing about?
I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
I thought the answer to the question was pretty
I don't think
straightforward.
we're going to have buildings anymore.
And I said we're definitely going to have organization hangars
anymore. And by the way, Matt Sherman said we will be able to pick our starting location.
Yeah, so hangars, we're not going to be able to place hangars on planets. I think that what it is. But
Right,
hangars will
but
exist
the hangars
in game.
are gonna also act as headquarters. Also act as storage for ships. Also act as storage for assets. Also act as storage for placing furniture and all that other shit. Right? We've seen that they want to put in things like shooting ranges.
Yeah, we saw the room system
and
for
meeting
that originally
rooms
for the
and all of
mobiles.
that other stuff. Right?
Yeah.
And
I think he's
they've talked about the
building.
room
He would have
systems.
said hangar if he wanted to talk about hangar.
Okay.
It's a building. You're being pedantic. Saurus is hulking out. I have anti-anxiety medication, so I don't hulk out. Look at this. Look at this face. This is a face that's relaxed.
Our next question from Cataphar. If there isn't a survive mechanic based on hunger, would you still like to see food giving some plus or minus bonuses if you eat or drink them?
Just no.
If you
Stop that. No.
if you eat some food at a restaurant, it costs credits. It can give you bonuses to movement for 10 hours or something No.
I don't want little smelly lines when you don't take a shower. I don't want any of that shit. I like the idea of toilets, and I like the idea of showers, and I like the idea of food on ships for your NPCs, part of their schedules.
I have an
don't want
argument
them to take part in that.
for this, and that's the Pips machine. And the Pips machine has those little power-up things, and I don't know what it could do, but I think it could do something like reduce the effectiveness of heavy G's on your body, reduce the requirement of oxygen or the amount of oxygen that you need to survive in an environment, potentially increase the amount of damage you can take. I
don't like the idea of buffs on that sort of level.
It's a possibility. We have the Pips machine in there. That's sort of what it alludes to. That's not saying that's what it is, but
It's not the game I backed.
I don't like the idea of buffs and debuffs.
Yeah, that's not the
that
game I
sense.
backed.
Oxygen debuff because you're low on oxygen. Yeah. Getting shot in the leg, giving you a debuff in that sort of sense, like physically moving you slow. But drinking Red Bull and it going,
what if
I'm stronger.
But what if it
like-
it helps your recovery process? What if it's a drink to help your recovery process from something?
Then
Or
that should be sold in the medical unit. It shouldn't be available at a power up with Pips thing. I think that's too. I don't know.
so
Like
so
obviously,
what
like
is
the
your
MediPen is
Right.
something you inject
So-
in yourself and
Right.
things happen.
Okay, so what is your what would you, when you look at the Pips machine and you look at what it is now?
Role play.
What is your-
I see role play
I
element.
think you should be able to buy Pips and drink them in front of people, but it's more of an emotive thing.
I
I
think
want to be able
this-
to drink at bars as well for the same reason.
I just think this Benny's and this Pips machine thing, which was literally put in there just to make the world feel a little bit more alive, is becoming way too much of a phenomenon, and
They're
people
like
think
fireworks,
it's
though.
yeah, and people think it's a bigger deal than it really is. Like I think they really just put it in there to make that space feel more lived in.
But I think it's fine to have them and cool to have them in the same way that you have fireworks in World of Warcraft. You can eat some bennies because you bought some bennies. It costs you some money. Then you chuck the carton on the floor, and then a poor janitor's got to come and clean it up. I mean, people will be drinking this stuff. And
That's
maybe,
fine, but no benefits.
I don't like the idea of buffs.
Well, I mean, you're also gonna have alcohol, and we know that. We know that you're gonna be able to sit down.
There'll be
and eat
debuffs with
and do
alcohol,
things like that.
right?
Visual debuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But we know that the different alcohols do different things to you as well. So
It shouldn't make you more powerful, though. It shouldn't be going, I need to drink this to recover quicker or whatever. I just don't like that kind of arcadiness in the PU. Maybe for Arena Commander, maybe for Space Marine. Maybe they can make a game mode.
Marine?
A Star Marine. Maybe they can. I forgot what it's
Guys,
fucking called
new
now.
game coming out
Yeah.
this
Space
week.
Marine
Space Marine. It's gonna be great. It's
Available-
by BoredGamerUK.
available on
It's
iTunes and
figures.
Google and
I
Android.
will hulk
Marine in space.
up. I will hulk up and shout.
It's your turn.
But yeah, so maybe for the arcade modes, but for me, I don't like the idea of buffs in game.
Yeah, like I don't like them in terms of something like, oh, it ups your accuracy because that's something that's physical, or like, oh, whatever. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility
Mhm.
that they're going to do something like that.
So we'll rise up
It's just
against
they want
CIG
to be
if
like
they do that.
a somewhat realistic simulation. So I don't
Right.
know, because it would have to imply almost that. I guess it wouldn't. I was gonna say that you would get like plus 10
No.
whatever.
No, it doesn't necessarily
just,
mean that.
You just
Like,
move a little
like
faster,
just like the gravity thing, it just makes you more. You can pull
Yeah.
off higher G maneuvers. So yeah, that Red Bull that you drink before a race helps you for your race, right? But you still have to use your actual skill to do the race. Your chances of blacking out on a certain turn are less. Or whatever,
but you also get,
because you can just your body can deal with a little bit more G forces or something, because it gels your blood or something temporarily under that pressure.
It is 1,000 years in the future, so there is a possibility that there's things like that.
Right, and that's what I'm going towards.
And I think that's where you're going with it.
I'm
100%.
fine with certain things being sold in the Medi Center. That will help alleviate things, that might help you in certain situations. I'm not okay with someone walking up to a pips machine during combat, drinking a pips, and then punching my head off.
Yeah, like having
I don't
pips
think you're
machines
gonna have that.
in combat areas.
No,
because
no,
they're
I-
fucking
You're not
cops.
gonna.
Like, that'll
You're
be
not.
the stupidest shit
No,
ever.
I don't think that's the case. I think
Yeah.
it's something that you would maybe be able to store on your ship or carry with you, but you'd have to purchase it at a landing zone or something.
I do like the idea, however, of maybe your NPCs aboard a ship being happier or slightly more efficient because you have vending machines, because you have food. Stuff like that, I think might be a good idea. Might raise their stats artificially very slightly or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. How... Oh, God. We're arguing about a pips machine. My life.
Give us 2-6.
Give us story.
Right?
I
Fucking
just yelled
Jesus
about
Christ.
buildings and Trump for fucking 5 minutes.
All right, next question from Schmunkel. I don't think this question's worded very well, but I'm going to read it word for word. Has feature creep officially gone too far in Star Citizen? No.
It's not feature creep if you actually make the features. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
And no is the answer to that short term. But he goes on to say, for example, remember when planets were going to be simple landing zones with a can landing animation? Now with planetary generation, which I do think is cool, we have added a ton of potential content, but also more work that has probably added another year to development time. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. This is by far the best Star Citizen podcast out there. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead and
me
start,
identify.
Soros. I definitely have an opinion on this one.
So I don't think so. I think that they sort of stopped that where they thought. Now with things like the procedural planet stuff, that wasn't something they were gonna do one way or another. They had done the R&D for it and implemented it within literally months, which is insane for them to do. And the fact that they're showing the things that they were showing and they have shown to us so far with those planets, that it just adds so much more to the game that it makes sense. Now,
I'll tell you something. Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish first.
Now, when they were getting to the things like the pets and stuff like that, yeah, you could say that is excessive, but you also have to remember that they don't need to release the game with all of these features in place when it goes gold.
And they probably won't.
And they most likely won't. So you won't see a lot of those things until it's later on. These are things that they want to have in the game eventually, and I think that's reasonable. I think that they can add a lot of those things. Now, when you go to the planets and the planetary generation, I think that adds just so much content for the amount of work that they need to put in that it's worth it for them, and I don't think that is feature creep, personally.
Yeah.
But
I feel that CIG do, however, to an extent, have fidelity creep. They do often rework a lot of their stuff to get it up to the new level. Now,
It's
I know
always
that's
gonna
an
be
essential
another
part of the
level,
process.
you know?
Yes, and I know that they will eventually stop doing that, and I do understand that they've got the assets to do that. But they do keep on reworking stuff, and they do keep on increasing the quality of stuff, and that's a good thing. But might be adding to the first implementation release of the full game of Star Citizen, somewhat. Like if they just went, no, this is the level that we're going to do it to for the first release, then maybe the game would come out quicker. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure how many systems we're gonna have when it goes to release.
Like even Chris
At
implied
this
that we
point.
probably won't have all of them.
Right?
On that Gamers Nexus thing. But he also said we would have seen the demo for, so who knows? But
yeah, things always are changing.
Yeah, exactly. So things change all the time. Maybe they figured out a way to make planets really quickly. Maybe they're
Well, I
maybe
think
their
they have found
planet-
a way to make planets really quickly.
but even quicker.
Yeah.
But what I was just going to add to this is I'm going to speak for myself here. I didn't back just another game. I backed the most ambitious game being developed in ever.
Yeah.
And yes, it might seem like feature creep to a lot of people, and yes, they're putting a lot of things in, and yes, they're being crazy in some cases about, like how Board said, of how much fidelity they want to have, about what they're trying to do. But that's the game that we backed.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So
we
bringing
want
in
that
the feature
fidelity.
creep, like we want this game to be extremely elaborate, extremely detailed, tons of game mechanics, because we want to play it for 10 years. And what game right now can you play for 10 years, There's not many. There's like WoW that's
WoW.
gotten that kind of gameplay, but a lot of games fizzle out really quickly nowadays. And in order for them to keep that from happening, they really have to make a really fantastic game, and
They have to
They
make
might
sure there's a
require to
lot
put
to
a lot
do.
of features in, right?
There has to be a lot to do. There has to be a lot to bring people back.
Yeah.
It can't just all be one type of gameplay, and that's why I think their focus is much on the FPS portion side of things, and that they are the ship flight, right? Because originally it was going to be more about the ship flight, and I think that they understand what we're looking for.
Yeah. They want
when it
what we
comes to
want. I
that.
think they want to play the game as much as we do, a lot of these guys. And and I think part of the question was, it added another year to, it might add another year to the development.
Right.
I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, as impatient as I am getting right now, I'm willing to wait for the best game I've ever played in my life, because that's what I'm hoping and believe that this will be.
Yeah.
So, feature creep, whatever. Bring on the pets. Bring on all the silly things.
Like I said, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of that stuff until like the stuff that's not important to the game, and that is definitely very on the side, like the pets or the. I'm not sure what else you could have in there, like maybe farming and the factory stuff and all that other stuff. I don't think that needs to come with the launch. I think that can be introduced later on.
Yeah.
But I think it's something they want to do. Greendra asks, if you had a dream in which Star Citizen was real life, what would you do first?
I would
wake up and eat breakfast.
I think I would fly a multi-cruise ship with all of my friends somewhere.
Trick question. Make sure my spacesuit's on before I suffocate. I go shopping. That's the first thing. When we've got all the shops and commodities and stuff in, that's the first thing I want to see. I want to see what makes money, what's valuable, what's got value in the verse, what's gonna get me out there playing, spending my money, and making money. Can I say something that
In
maybe
real
more
life?
exciting?
Is that how you do things in real life? I would play video games and fucking
Star Marine, woo!
yeah, I'd be playing Star Marine and Arena Commander. That's what I do in real life now. I sit here, I play video games for you guys, and I broadcast out. My life wouldn't be any different, I don't think. Maybe I would be doing it from a spaceship and traveling the galaxy or something.
That Wi-Fi though.
Future.
That space Wi-Fi.
Well, people are owning spaceships, right? I assume that we have
Yeah.
that space internet.
Hopefully, it's better than my internet right now.
yeah.
I see myself. I'm having a rough time today.
Commander Riker asks, "Hey guys, the closer we get to the PU, I've been thinking more about player death and respawning. Setting the mechanic spectrum with hardcore one-life gameplay like DayZ on one end and COD's instant arcade action respawn on the other. So you would have the DayZ spectrum on the Persistent Universe and the arcade instant in Arena Commander and StarMarine. What is the best way in which CIG should approach player death and repercussions?" Just answered it. How can Star Citizen keep it fun and simple for casual gamers, but also remain exciting and intense for hardcore players emotionally invested? StarMarine and Arena Commander and the Persistent Universe. Done!
I mean, but also, it's because it doesn't really have a high and... You can start off at endgame straight away if you wanted to. You could get aboard a Javelin as a gunner immediately.
Yeah.
You could just... into the verse, into... capital ship combat straight away if you want to. It's so much to do and so much to try, and you can just jump into it.
Yeah. So for the casual gamers, I think they could just come in and play those arcade styles. And for the people that want to play the hardcore stuff or want to do the RP stuff or whatever, they can.
Yeah, I think
do that in the PU.
I think we should more be pointing him towards the death of a spaceman, where yes, you die. Yes, your character will die, and that's the plan. There is permadeath in the game, but your items get transferred to your next of kin. So therefore, yes, you die, and it sucks. And you might lose some, reputation, perhaps. We don't really know. I don't know exactly how they're going to do stuff like that. But you will not lose what you earned, necessarily, ship-wise, weapon-wise, things like that. So player death, while it is a thing, it is not the end of the world thing. So it has an impact, but it doesn't have a massive impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're doing death really balanced for the casual and not casual player. And I don't think saying, well, you know what, casual player, you just go play Arena Commander, which is dogfighting. Maybe that's not the thing that the casual player wants to do. Maybe the casual player wants to explore.
But the thing is he was asking specifically about being able to jump right back into action, right? Saying,
you'll wake up in a, I don't know, it's my understanding that you create your next of kin immediately. So then you'll wake up as your next of kin, and maybe there'll be like, if I know Chris, there's going to be a funeral scene when your guy dies, right? If it's in every Wing Commander game, when your character actually has permadeath, you'll probably have a funeral scene that you can skip, and then you wake up and you come back in as your next of kin.
I like the idea of there being a small death tax for your funeral, just a tiny one, that you could also pay more to have a better funeral.
That'd be cool.
And the top level of funeral appears like on the news.
This is what I think they were talking about with feature creep. But
it is.
Yeah, but I think that I understand what you guys are saying, and yeah, they're not going to lock you out of the game. Like when you die, you're not going to get locked out of the game for half an hour before you can spawn a new character.
No.
But I think what he was asking was being able to be to jump right into action for combat or for whatever it is, whatever little mini game it is that you want to play. And I think that's where Arena Commander and StarMarine will shine, is being able to, I can jump into the game for 10 minutes today, and so this is what I'm going to do. Right?
Okay. Arena Commander's for you.
And I think that's what that's
I just assume everybody is, I assume everybody, when they ask questions, that they're talking about Star Citizen, the MMO.
Yes, previously they've said that mission length-ish sort of time will be half an hour to an hour. Didn't they? Something like that?
Yeah.
They expect the smallest period of time that you'd be able to sit down and play Star Citizen for be half an hour to an hour.
Yeah, so if you only have 20 minutes, maybe you want to do a couple rounds of StarMarine.
Yeah.
And then go and do something else. And that's that. Tabler asks, how do you think Star Citizen will handle mature content, as in sex, drugs, etc.? Gore.
I think we'll definitely have cursing.
We already do. We've got a bit of that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, he says bullshit or something, doesn't he? The
Yeah.
character.
Oh yeah, it's bullshit as well. I mean, do they need to do sexy time? They can imply strippers. They can imply stuff. They don't have to do it.
I mean, Mass Effect did it.
Right. I mean,
No.
yeah, they can do it.
I think that if
Drugs
it,
are going to be in the game.
yeah,
right?
I
They
think
can
that
make them. Yeah.
I think that if
Alcohol already is.
they have the environment and they want to portray that, they'll just portray it. Like, why wouldn't they put it in? I don't think they're gonna go out of their way. I think this is what they said, and they said this about the gore and everything as well. They're not gonna go out of their way to make shit like super gory or super sexual or whatever. But if there's a time and a place for something,
It's a real universe.
then
It's
then
not,
they're gonna
it's not
portray
GTA
it.
Blade Run.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not
gonna-
going to be, I'm going to beat a prostitute to death with my fist.
right.
It's not that kind of game. There are real consequences for your characters. And I think the consequences is going to stop some of that aberrant behavior and the need to have quite extreme stuff. Like, I'm okay with them.
They should have
cutting out-
Westworld in the Star Citizen universe.
I'm fucking loving the new series of Westworld.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, mate.
They should have Westworld.
Our next question comes from NK Sharp, and this is a very biased question. But have CIG mentioned that they tested out other modes for FPS, for example, 5v5? I feel 4v4 isn't as balanced as much as 5v5, but it would be hard to tell without seeing the maps. Do you think 4v4 will work for Submarine? I think that you're used to 5v5 because of CSGO. There's a lot of games that aren't 5v5. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, 6v6, 8v8,
32 on 32.
64 on 64, all kinds of stuff. So yes, I think that they'll balance it for Star Marine. I don't think it's going to be an issue for them. I think 4v4 is what they chose. 4v4 and 12v12, I believe, is what we're starting with. That doesn't mean that's what we're ending with. And just like any other game, a good example is Call of Duty, for example, which I'm playing right now. There's different game modes, and the game modes that people enjoy are the game modes that are going to be popular, and the ones that aren't are going to be ones that are going to be hard to get games going. So just like right now, we don't have a lot of people playing Capture the Core, if any. And so nobody plays it. It's still there.
Fun, though.
It's still fun. It's still there. It's still playable. But you know,
it needs to be restrictive with what ships you can use and capture the
But what it boils down to is, will they add it? Possibly. They are definitely going to do a 4v4, and that's what they're starting with, though. 4v4 and 12v12.
I suspect there's going to be loads of different maps with loads of different player counts.
Right.
5v5s, 7v7s, all that sort of jazz. Probably, maybe. I don't know.
And I think them going in, knowing what their team compositions are going to be, they're going to be able to balance it around that. The map sizes, the strategies, things like that.
Strats.
We definitely have. I'm sure they've tried all the different sizes, right? And inside the map, and they know. I think they've decided what they feel is fun, and who's to say that the community doesn't say, you know what, 4v4 isn't enough, and they add another player in a future patch.
Yeah, and so what would happen?
It's not set in stone, and that's, again, one of the great things about the game. It's not released. So
right, so let's say 12v12 becomes a lot more popular. So then they go back to the 4v4 and they say, okay, maybe this is enough. Maybe people don't want to play this because it isn't enough. Or maybe it's too many. Maybe it needs to be 2v2 or 1v1 or 3v3. I know, for example, what game does 3v3? Overwatch does a 3v3 mode. You know, so it's really dependent on the game and everything, and I think it's hard to judge until we see it and we have it in our hands. We have people playing it.
Yeah, it's a good question though, because I just like I don't know how we can ask it at the moment.
Yeah, it's
like, let's play it and then make that judgment. You know,
there's so much that we can't be like.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell without it. IDD asks, couldn't map imbalances, map lighting, and other non-mechanics, non-backend stuff be improved over time? And what are Chris Roberts' release-worthy standards anyway?
It's so I don't know what Chris's standards are because like they seem really high, and then a patch comes out and it's like not fantastic. So I don't know. A lot of the times, like what happens is I think Chris is. Don't you feel like Chris is more like what Board was talking about, more set on the fidelity of things rather than
He probably doesn't have as much go no go power with the individual Star Citizen patches as we think, because he's probably slightly more disconnected from them. He's probably looking at the overall...
how do you know until we're all in the patch playing it that the frames are this good and it's this trashy? They never know until they actually push it.
Going on what we've been getting and what we've had the entire time and what they've been releasing and sort of focusing on for the patches, I think he wants things that screenshot well for the time being. Right, so when they do, well, no, it's true,
and they certainly do. This game
they do.
Who wouldn't?
And exactly, and I think that's why we don't see anything come into the game in white box or gray box mode, ever. We don't see things come in without the animations in, right? We see them come in. Now the animations may be broken or something like that, but you don't see a ship come in where it just teleports you inside the ship instead of showing you the animation to get inside the ship. And so I think from that aspect, because sort of what Twerk is going on and expanding that's what I think that they want to make sure happens. So I think, with Star Marine, they want to have things like the leaning out and all of this stuff. Is it necessary for us to get Star Marine? Definitely not. But is it something that they want to have in for Star Marine? I think so. And the same with the grenades. You don't need grenades for Star Marine. You need the weapons we have. You need the armor values. You need the maps.
Yeah, and you just need the timer and the scoring. And let's go.
And some form of matchmaking.
The game mechanics.
Yeah.
But for them getting all of these new hit and death registers and the new animations and the different stances and the leaning and the grenades and the room system EVA stuff or whatever isn't necessary, but it's something that I think that they want in there to show a more complete experience, especially with Star Marine, especially with everything that's been going on with it and sort of how long it's been from when they first announced it and were first expecting to release it to us. They want to show something that's really good, and they don't want to put something that looks or feels half-baked. Because people are... Yeah. That's not going to go over well with the majority of people. With me, I would have been happy to get it 6 months ago without all of that stuff in it. But I understand.
Yeah, I would have been happy to have Correa with a score.
A score, a respawn mechanic, and just inside the station.
Yep.
Magnetron GW2 asks to Twerk17. Battlefield 1 uses a system on where you can hold Q and drop down. Circular menu pops up where you can give your squad orders. Capture that point, attack, defend, emotes, etc. With sounds and animations. Do you think this is the kind of system that is a plus for Star Marine, so you don't have to chat and only use mouse and keyboard? Also, Eve is free now. Are you going to try that out?
I would like to.
And then he says, "Now wave to the camera."
I'm not your monkey. The Q thing is a good idea, but at the same time, I guess because it's an arcade game. In Star Marine, yes, but I feel like they want to implement the emotes in Star Marine the same way that they want them in the PU. And I think that breaks immersion.
Also remember the inner thought system.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was going, that they might do it with the inner thought system somehow, which is essentially
it's the same
Q
thing.
Button anyway, right? Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, it would be the same thing, I would think.
Yeah. But how many inner thought options for emotes could you have? Like, how do you navigate that menu then?
Yeah, it would. That would be a lot on the UI stuff and everything on how they implement that. I don't think that it's something if they want combat emotes like what Board was saying, like stop, forward, over here, round up, whatever. I don't think you can have it the way that it's implemented now. I think there needs to be a way for you. What if there was a way for you to bind your most used ones like if you go to your MobiGlass or something and you bind your most used ones to like F1 to F12 keys, right? So then they're there and you can just hit them right away.
Or you bind them to a wheel. You could bind two
or
most
bind
used
them
ones into a wheel.
to a wheel. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that or yeah, and you can have like FPS setups and mining setups and so on. So
Yeah, not really sure how they're gonna implement that.
it's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it, especially with this additive idea.
We know for sure the way that they have it now isn't sustainable.
Bueno.
Yeah, it's not sustainable
No bueno.
for in combat. I'm not gonna type out some stuff.
/rude 3.
Yeah. Enter, and in that meantime, I've been shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't type in /dance
NK Sharp asks, is 2.6 almost ready? If 2.6 is almost ready, how come there's been not a lot of footage showcasing the mode? How will we know it's actually balanced without playing the game? Well, you won't know it's balanced until you play the game.
It won't be balanced.
That's the point of alpha.
Nice.
Remember, this
it won't be balanced. It most likely won't.
Yeah, there will. Just
and that's
like
the whole point.
Arena Commander, and you guys were talking about that OP build earlier, right?
It's shit. Everybody flies it.
And
everybody that doesn't fly it just loses.
Yeah.
It's just automatic loss.
And that's sort of what the purpose of alpha and beta especially is, a lot for balancing. But even now they try and balance out some things that are significant significant disadvantages.
Yeah.
But whether it's ready or not is irrelevant. I understand. Yeah, I would love to see more footage of them showcasing the mode. For sure. I would love to see some internal playtests and whatever. But in terms of the balance aspect of that, we aren't going to know. Even if they showed us that stuff, we don't know how good those players are. We don't know what their settings are at. We don't know what their mouse sensitivity is. We don't know if they're talking to each other or not, or whatever. I think that's something that you won't know until you actually get a large chunk of the player base actually playing it and giving feedback.
I want to see like the making of CitizenCon video, but I want to see the making of Star Marine video and then them just drop it at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That would be fucking sweet. Like that super production value and the struggles over the years now that it took. Obviously, they couldn't get that footage from years ago, most likely, because they didn't have this like sweet production that they have now. But that would be so cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's not going to be balanced now. That's the whole point. They're going to try, obviously. But.
Yeah. Zeus Anoxia asks, do you think Star Marine was intentionally delayed because 3 AAA FPS shooters, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and Modern Warfare Remastered, as well as Titanfall 2, have just been released and well received, and they just didn't want to be compared to them? They're gonna get compared to them no matter what. That's inevitable. I can tell you.
There is no reason that you would want to miss out on the PGP or primary gifting period that is Christmas. I mean, they just get massive amount of sales even if they were fucking really low on the charts. So,
and let's look at it this way, guys. This is a video game inside this video game. There are 2 maps. There are 2 game modes. You really can't compare these games.
Well,
those are polished FPS games. They're going to, but I don't think like Star Marine isn't the Lord and Savior. It is, it is a nice thing that we're hopefully going to have in between 3.0, which is really when the game starts to be played.
While it's not the Lord and Savior, it is something that is going to potentially attract a lot of new backers. And I think that them putting
it's going to bring a lot of old backers back.
And it's going to bring a lot of old backers back as well. I agree. And I think that, that there is a little bit of truth to that extent because
have our expectations
the media,
right
the media and players are going to compare it directly to a lot of these other FPSs, and I think that they want to release the best possible first iteration of that because all eyes are going to be on CIG. They've said that previously. They know that for sure, and so I think that's why they're taking their time and making sure. I don't think it's being intentionally delayed. I think that they're intentionally releasing it with more than what they would have a year ago.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely more of the case than them. I don't think they're delaying it on purpose.
Hell
I
no.
think that if anything, the what they want to release it with is what's causing the delay. If that makes sense.
I even think it's like some of the other. It seems like it's also some of the other factors outside of Star Marine. Like, what if Star Marine's pretty much done, and it's like these bugs with the Herald glass, is what's keeping it.
I think maybe it's the bugs with the 1 second delay, mate, that's keeping it.
Yeah. Which is Star Marine related, though.
Yeah, because I think they'd still drop 2.6 if the Herald wasn't ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they wouldn't.
At least they would drop it to the Evocati or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Winlord00. You mentioned recently if animals are allowed as pets, will they be planet or planet atmosphere bound? If not, we could see pest trade, cross-planet breeding, and spore-like mutations. I don't think you're going to see spore-like mutations or cross-breeding. I think this would be open a can of sandworms. How would you guys like or not to see animals implemented?
I see what you did there. No, I think it'll be like I don't know. I think it'll just follow you around and be like a cute little pet. I don't know how detailed it'll be.
I think we're gonna.
It'll be cosmetic almost.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like okay, so the same way that pets are in real life, you have different pets for different geographic areas, right? Like you can go down to South America and get an iguana. North America, you can get a cat or a dog. Maybe somewhere else you can get some sort of rare bird or something. That doesn't but that doesn't mean you can breed that dog with a bird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're going to have, like, cross species or anything like that.
I want a boa constrictor dog.
I think you're going to see pet systems similar to what they have in World of Warcraft, where you have a pet, and that's sort of it, and it follows you around, and maybe it does some neat things. But you would just either capture it in the universe, or you'd buy it from a pet dealer.
I'm thinking the first implementation of pets is going to be purely flare-based.
Yeah.
And then CIT need to tread carefully about pets, because I do not want to be on capital ships and everyone to be a fucking Pokemon master. I don't want to see 80 crewmen with different animals floating around behind them.
But what
That's ridiculous.
What about 5-6 years into the game, the Pokemon Master thing becomes like a side game? You could do something like that. Like,
I don't want
I'm
that
not saying that they're going to. I'm not saying that I want it. But it's something that I agree. On first implementation, I think it's something you're going to mostly be collecting from the wild or collecting from...
and it adds
and to be honest, you might not be able to bring them with you anywhere. They may just stay in your hangar or in your building or whatever. Tethered. Right. And they just hang out in your thing. Or they're fish and they hang out in your aquarium.
Yeah, because then think about it. It's for every character, there's another fucking character with it. Like, that'll...
And not only that, then you need all the animations for it. You need it to do 0G. You need it to do... it have its own AI behind it. And
yeah, fuck that. Cat can stay...
That stuff...
Well,
like I said, that stuff potentially could come in much, much, much later in the game development cycle, well after the game has been released. But I don't think that's something they want to have in it immediately at all. I don't even think pets are coming in when the game goes live. I don't even think we're going to have pets. With the exception of maybe some fish.
And flare. I still think we're going to get flare. I think we're going to have aquariums, vivariums, possibly caged pets, stuff like that. Stuff that's just easily...
You want a terrarium with a baby sandworm?
Just a little one.
Yeah, it's just like sand and you can see them like going around. Uber Nerd says, should CIG make the life support system so detailed that we will need to replenish the materials in our CO2 scrubbers like we're required to refuel for quantum drive? Real CO2 scrubbers require minerals like serpentinite, magnesium silicate hydroxide, and olivine to work properly. This could immediately give mining a real market. Finally, to take out the crew of a ship without a shot fired, you could sabotage the CO2 scrubbers to knock the crew out, but in such a way that the ship's life support system would think everything was okay. I don't think that they're gonna, like, they showed... I don't think there won't be any warnings to the lack of oxygen, no matter what. I think that's important. There needs to be a way for them to fight back from that. Otherwise, that becomes OP. Just like everything else, for every game mechanic, there needs to be an equal and opposite game mechanic to defend against that, especially when it comes to a PvP scenario. But in terms of having a mineable material that you need to restock every once a month or in a time zone that you can check up on in your systems, I think that would be cool and would add to the mining stuff for sure. And would become a valuable resource.
Yeah, if people need to mine it, if people need to get it out in the like deep space when they're exploring. Yeah.
Just like think of it as like a human fuel.
Or like pips.
Right? Like for example, solid ox is solid oxygen. Right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
maybe out in space there's some sort of solid oxygen that you could mine, and it slowly releases oxygen over time, and that lasts, depending on the quantity that you have, it lasts for a certain period of time. So maybe it's not a bad idea.
No.
We haven't really heard of anything like that.
I think it's a
that
they've
they've talked
too
about.
detailed. But
I think there's different levels of detail you could do into it. I think the way that that Uber Nerd has described it, I think that's too detailed. But I think that if it was like a single material that you need to refuel something, your oxygen maker in your ship or whatever, I don't think that's insane. Because it would be a renewable resource. Sample Rico asks, have any of you played Battlefield 1 or Red Orchestra 2? How do you think Star Marine will be paced? Like a fast-paced COD, Arma 3, or something in between like Battlefield 1 or RO2?
I think it might be a board question. I haven't played Battlefield 1, or I didn't even hear what the other game was.
I feel it's very
Nah.
close to Arma. Not with the menu system. The menu system in Arma is really clunky, but the movement, the pace, and everything in Arma feels very similar to Star Citizen.
I think it's going to be like 90% Arma, 10% Call of Duty, sort of.
A little faster paced Arma.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be more fun than Arma because Arma derives a lot of its fun from being a simulation.
Yeah.
A very hardcore military simulation of that.
Yeah, and that's why people buy it. That's why people want to play it.
Or
Star Citizen is going.
Maybe more
Star
like
Citizen is going a bit
Rainbow
more
Six.
fun.
More maybe similar to Rainbow Six
Yeah,
Siege.
Rainbow Six is probably a better.
I should
comparison,
get it. I should reach out for a code for that and try it out.
Yeah, we should all play Rainbow Six. I think it'll be a good laugh.
Where's Uber Montreal when you need him? Our next question is from C Dizzle. Talking about ship player armor customization. Would you prefer it to be an in-game currency change at will type of thing, or a CSGO style skin system driving its own marketplace by exclusivity? You could do both. So in the persistent universe, you could go to an armor smith or wherever they sell armor and things like that and buy the different skins, and maybe different systems have different skins or customization. Like, say, for example, you can go anywhere and get it painted whatever color you want. But if you wanted certain patterns or something like that, you could go and buy it, like a Tavaran camouflage pattern or a human UEE military pattern or whatever. You could go and buy those from specific areas. Where in Star Marine, you can't customize your own things, but you could earn those as a part of the game mechanics. So unlock them just for Star Marine, and that's where it stays.
In Star Marine, right?
And same with Arena Commander.
Yeah.
And that would be really fucking
PU.
cool. Right? But in the PU, I think that's more of something that you could just go and purchase.
He has
or
armor
you could,
too, right?
Yeah. Armor, you could even say ships in Arena Commander. I think that it would be something cool for customization in the PU still, but I think the way that you unlock it would be more about finding where to go buy those exclusive things, or maybe it's only time-based, or maybe it's
well, I think that's the first thing you said, because dude, I think that's really what Star Citizen is about, is that rare things are gonna be only sold in certain places.
Well, not only
and
certain
it's gonna
places,
take time to travel,
but they only have so many of them. Maybe they only
That's
have
true.
100 of them,
And they're only in
for
in
a certain amount
areas.
of time.
You can only buy this ship in this place. You can only buy this armor in that place. You can only, and so on and so on. You could go on forever.
It could be
I
time
think you
based.
really
it could
hit it
be.
home with
It
that
could
one.
be. It could be amount based, and it could also be location based, or it could be all three. Right? Maybe they only have 100 tiger stripe armor plates that are orange
Sexy.
and white, right? That you can only get from Grimhex. That you can only get on
Maybe from
on
doing
Thursday.
this really tough mission,
Yeah.
potentially as
something
well.
like that as well.
That could be
Right.
ways to get them.
If I
Or
kill
maybe you
can I-
find it-
Can I steal your tiger print?
Maybe you find it hidden
Potentially, you can salvage
in a
it.
mission somewhere. You salvage it somewhere. And you find it. So I think it works both ways, and I would really like to see some sort of reward system like the CS:GO style skin system in Star Marine and Arena Commander. Not at first implementation, but definitely eventually, because I
Like
think
the leaderboards are
that's
cool,
what's
but-
going to make it really popular. That'll make it more
Yeah.
popular than leaderboards for sure.
Absolutely.
People, that's what they go after, and you see that in all FPSs. You see that in Battlefield. You unlock different weapons and different skins. You see that in Call of Duty. You see it in CS:GO. And the reason that it's picked up by all those things is because players really enjoy that, and it's a
'cause it works.
mechanic that really works well.
Yep.
Alper Cavalci asks, what do you think about Tavarin? What do you think they're going to look like? Please
What do you
speculate.
think about Tavarin?
I don't like those dirty Tavarin.
I'm thinking Egyptian, so bird-like or Anubis-like.
Anubis, yeah.
Anubis
We
would
talked
be
about
really
this. I like the
badass,
Anubis
yeah.
idea.
I'm really hoping they have some sort of armor that's styled that way.
Like gold.
Like not maybe
Gold and
yeah,
blue.
like metallic, metallic and like based off of animals and
Mm-hmm.
oh man, that would be cool. It would just look so badass.
I just want to. I really hope we see them. I'll be really sad if we don't.
Yeah. That would be really cool. They could be cats. Well, you think like remember it's sort of based off of Egyptian very loosely. So you have birds, you have cats, you have like dogs and jackals were like their main things, right? So the eagle, the sphinx, like lion sort of thing, and then your Anubis and Jackal, and a lot of their gods and everything were based on those kind of things. So if you were to extrapolate that and say Egypt was based off of Tavaran culture, how would you connect those two?
Oh, cool. Kin Shadow just said they talked about Tavaran clothing in the last lore post. So if you guys want to check it out,
I'm reading it now. That's what I'm doing.
he said it's blocky colors with gold trim. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So gold, nice.
Yeah.
So it's
there you
Egyptian.
go. So it
you know?
sounds.
But
a
it's
lot like
fashionable at the moment on Terra and the UEE.
Ah,
Which once again,
Tavarin's in.
Tavarin is in. Interesting. But if they're going to talk about that, maybe we can see some stuff.
and
The one thing that we do know is that every character seems to have a humanoid esque body.
Yes.
Right? Because we have to be able to fly their ships and stuff like that. So you're not going to get
I hope we see
the Elcor from Mass
You
Effect.
say
Mass
that?
Effect.
Crazy
I love
looking.
the
but
Elcor
I
Yeah,
hope
like these crazy looking
I
characters.
hope we do get alien race or two eventually that isn't humanoid.
Yeah, me too.
I want something
They're
that's
concepting them, haven't they? They've talked about the concepting of
I
alien
mean, we saw a
race,
giant fucking
multiple
bug.
legs.
mhm.
What if
Well,
that's
no,
an intelligent species?
More sentient. Well, maybe they're Tavaran. But so
Maybe they were, yeah.
in regards to Tavaran warriors of yesteryear, it was segmented color blocking, thick gold trim, and wide pauldrons.
What's a pauldron?
shoulder plates,
like
big shoulder
shoulder
plates. So think
Ah, yeah.
Night swear.
Yeah. That's very Kilrathi like.
here, I might even have some cool pictures I can pull up here.
These styles would look fierce from the boardroom to the nightclub. Shimmering fabrics. So it's ornate Egyptian. I think that's what I'm envisioning.
So this
now.
now these are I just searched Egyptian sci-fi armor, and I came up with a couple images here, and I just want to show these if I can. I just want to get them pulled up really quickly.
I put in a Kilrathi image at the bottom of the dock as well.
Okay, so here is some of the stuff that I think would look kind of cool in terms of helmet styles, right? So you have your Anubis, you have your Egyptian god thing. They're all very gold, metallic. Same with this, just like he has the headdress that's sort of part of the helmet, and very Egyptian
that's
feeling.
sick.
I think that would be
So-
really, really cool.
Maybe reading slightly too much into this, but there's a band mentioned called Warbird, and their lead bass player is a Tavaran.
Warbird.
So maybe they are bird-like, or they are avian.
So something like this, yeah, like similar to what they have in, I think in Stargate, is based off of Egyptian stuff as well, right?
They go all Egyptian and
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like that kind of styling is what we're probably going to see. I really like this first one here.
It's cool.
It's
It
really
looks
cool.
Quarian and from Mass Effect as well. I'm playing Mass Effect soon. I can't stop thinking about it.
You know what?
Andromeda's going to be
So
great.
you know how
Yeah.
I do Table of Terror every Saturday, my Dungeons and
Yes.
Dragons role-playing thing?
In the
So-
style of Stranger Things. Yeah.
We do it with Stacy and Allie, and Allie is more than just a cosplayer. She's the lead facial animator for Mass Effect. Yeah.
Well, for Andromeda,
Is she single?
Yeah. Of Andromeda.
She's single?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Not
tell
for
her I said
you.
what's up.
I was gonna say sup.
yes, but not for you.
But that's when I think of Tavaran, that's what I picture in my head is very close to what those images were. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, here's more like get away from me. Here's like Anubis. Now this one's a little more cartoony and comic booky, and he's not really wearing any armor, but similar to that sort of head style would be really cool. And I think we're going to see a lot of those Egyptian themes with them. I think their language will also be very much like
Hieroglyphic.
hieroglyphic, yeah.
Well, there's there's a mention of that as well, actually. When he was talking about boots. Purge. Tavaran symbols. So yeah, they use symbols.
Symbolism, yeah.
Turns out people don't want footwear saying "I killed my father." It's quite.
Okay.
Our next question is from Gritspitter. Going back to the fact that they're making fauna in the character pipeline, do you think the plant flare that we've been getting, while a part of the larger library of fauna assets, has been in dev for quite a long time? They may have a large library of assets for biomes ready to go. Well, I mean, they've shown
Perhaps.
some of their biome stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that as they build specific tool sets to play, like for specific biomes, whether it be like the more desert, arid temperate, or more a jungle temperate or whatever, is they build all of those assets together and then put in their different variations for them. So when they paint the planets with those biomes, that they populate that way, and then you can
And
have
those-
them individually.
Those plants are specifically Xi'an right now, right?
The ones
Or are they
we
just
have,
plants from
they're from all over.
everywhere?
They're from all over.
Okay.
Just
So,
like the
yeah.
fish.
Terror
I guess
everywhere.
I guess what it's a good it may, instead of being they already have the biomes done, it may be the initial style guide for biomes of certain planets that those plants came from. Like there is a Xi'an plant, and maybe the biome will have this kind of look,
It's that
and
sort
they
of
can
style.
use that as a starting point for
Yeah.
those biomes when they hit those planets. I don't think they have them yet, though.
Yeah, like you might have a planet that has a lot of bioluminescent plants,
Yeah,
which would
and
look
I think we
really,
have a
really
few
cool.
that look
Yeah.
pretty bioluminescent. in our
We have
hangars
we
right
have
now.
ones plants that make sound when you rub
Yeah.
up against them or hit them or whatever,
Mhm.
right? The new
Well, I rub
mushroom,
up against them and they know
the new
what's going
mushroom
on.
makes sound. The hanger flare.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They do.
it's got an audible thing. You may go somewhere where there's carnivorous plants and there's a lot of carnivorous plants there. So that's something you're gonna actually have to fight. Who knows? But what we do know is that the different biomes are gonna extend more than just what we have on Earth. While there will be Earth-like biomes, definitely, and there will be like one biome planet sort of things, like a desert planet maybe, or like the rocky mountainous planet, or a jungle planet, or a city planet. You also have different, like some planets that are broken up into different biomes on those planets as well. Do you think this question is from Magnetron GW2? Do you think they will show new ship mechanics on Friday, being as they're going to be primarily a ship show?
What new ship mechanics could they show?
Boarding?
Maybe. Well, what if they show? Okay, so they said they're wrapping up the caterpillar, right? So boarding along with the caterpillar potentially, but also what about tractor beam?
What about things like
I'd like to see that.
more work
I'd
on
love
the
to see
jump
that.
systems, on the jump point systems? What about more things like on the life supply systems on a ship? The component stuff, which then turns into gameplay on
Items
the ships.
2.0, right?
Right, so
Maybe more on
like,
items 2.0.
yeah, like the CPU coming in, the coolers coming in, how you're going to manage those things, how those things are going to be shown on a HUD or a UI element on the screens.
Ooh, somebody said carrier landing. That is actually, if they show the Idris and Javelin, maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see a live carrier landing.
I want to see some fighting. I want to see that vertical slice. Gif.
Yeah. Who's in here right now?
In where?
In the questions.
Not me.
Color. Somebody's changing colors on me. Our next question's from RoboFan. About the city that was leaked a while ago, how much of it or other large structures do you think will be explorable? I think he's talking about Terra.
Talking about Terra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Terra sketch fab.
ArcCorp is a big planet that's going to be explorable.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every planet should have a city something. Not
How
every
much-
planet will have cities like that.
How
but
much
they'll
of
have
the city do you
explorable
think is going to be explorable and or enterable?
little small areas will be explorable and enterable, and they'll be past that. That I kind of discussed this with Brian Chambers a few weeks ago about ArcCorp, where the whole planet of all the buildings will not be explorable. It will be certain places that you could move around. There'll be plenty of them, but it's not the whole thing. Like you're not going to be able to like explore a whole planet full of buildings. So I feel like the designers will choose our paths, but still be very detailed, still be very big.
On those kind of planets, there's only reason for you to visit them would be for function.
Yeah.
Because you can't explore something and find something new there unless there's an NPC there, in which case they have function. So
yeah, but you
there's
also
no point in them being random stuff.
have to remember that a lot of it, like you will be able to just sort of walk to a lot of places or fly to a lot of places. Depending on what the planet is and whatever. So I think we may see a lot of areas where just some buildings are enterable, like ones that are open to the public. Or
There's going to be locks on doors, right?
Yeah, there's going to be locks on doors, but once again, this is something that they can add in later on. As time goes on, they can open up more of these buildings if they want to, even if it's just a bar or a lounge or housing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe, the big apartment buildings are open, but unless you have a key card, you can't go upstairs or whatever, so you just hang out in the lobby. So you can't really fully explore everybody's things unless you're invited into their own habitat or just like the hangars or whatever. Jamie Trombone asks, if hangars are our main bases, Do you think CIG will include owning apartments in a super skyscraper in a landing zone? And if they do, what purpose could these homes serve? I would fear they would end up like the ones in GTA Online, where you can watch the same 5 minutes of in-game TV and get drunk. But I think that's important. I think that's important in an MMO that you have that stuff. And they've talked about having player housing. I know Chris has talked about the condos and stuff like that.
The more we watch, the more it seems like a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind them having condos. I don't, as long as they've got interaction.
I really hope they do.
And the thing is,
you don't want the same as in.
Yeah,
you don't
so
want limited amounts.
What I would
customizability of it is what matters.
So what I would like to see is it's an empty apartment, and over time you can fill that and decorate it however you want.
Put your rare items and
put your furniture in there. If you want to have a TV in there, you could hook that up. Maybe there's different channels to the different feeds because we know we have those news vans and stuff in there. We know that's going to be a part of the game. So maybe you can have a little get together with your friends or whatever in your
popcorn,
apartment,
watch the
and
big
hang out.
space battle. Or
something. Watch the latest Saddleball game.
Yeah.
Watch replays of the latest Star Marine. It would be cool, and it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool, and it would add to that whole collection thing of what MMOs are really good for, right? Being able to collect things, whether it be ship stuff or armor or clothing or pets or.
I just think they might have function. You might be able to turn it into your little home base, literally to do everything that you want to do, all of your kind of admin. And also, it's your bragging rights, isn't it? You go, guys, look at my pads.
Yeah, come and you want to show it off to other players.
Party, woo!
Our next and last question here is from El Lillian, and she asks, we know from Concierge that some early backers have been getting refunds from CIG. I'm currently deliberating taking up such a refund option. I would value your thoughts on why we should stay or not, particularly on how CIG has moved to discounts for cash.
Can you ask it again?
So we know from Concierge that some early backers have been getting refunds from CIG. I'm currently deliberating taking up such a refund option. I would value your thoughts on why you should stay or not, particularly now that CIG has moved to discounts for cash.
I mean, I guess discounts for cash is making him uncomfortable.
I'm pretty sure it's her.
As in, like, the level of, like, do they think the game could be finished? Because if they're taking discounts for cash, I think he's making the assumption that they've run out of money. She has run out of money. But I don't think that's the case at all.
I'm gonna say the same thing I say to everybody, and that's you shouldn't have put money in that you weren't willing to lose in the first place.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I backed No Man's Sky and didn't refund it because I knew the risk I was taking.
Oh, I refunded the shit out of No Man's Sky.
And I explained why I refunded games like No Man's Sky and another game, I forget what it's called now, as opposed to why I didn't get refunds for games like Stomping Land and War Z. When you get into a game like Stomping Land, War Z, Star Citizen, etc., it's early access. It's not a complete game. Things are very malleable and can change over time. When you get a game like No Man's Sky, where things are advertised you to be a specific way, and it's a complete finished game, and those features aren't in the game, I think it's very much within consumer rights to get your refunds back for those things. I think with Star Citizen, you're putting money into an idea and a concept.
The potential.
And I would understand that if they weren't producing content and if they weren't putting out new stuff all of the time, and I don't think that getting a refund with something like Star Citizen or any other early access game is
I think you got to give it its due time.
I don't think
that's money. If you're putting lots of money into Star Citizen and you're thinking about, I want a refund, you shouldn't put lots of money into Star Citizen.
You shouldn't have put that money in the first place.
Yeah, so you want to be backing the game at a level you're comfortable with, and the way you would back any Kickstarter project or any early access product. Totally agree with you.
So I look at it this way. I look at me putting the money into this game. Now, because I'm an edge case, I'm a content creator and stuff. whatever. But before I had still put in almost $300 into the game, and that was a game package for me, my brother, and a friend. Okay,
That's a lot of money.
and that is still a lot of. That's the most money I'd ever spent on a game prior to that.
Yep.
Let alone now. Now, I would not have spent the amount of money that I've spent on this game if this wasn't my job and I was not a content creator. I think I'm currently at $13,000 US spent. And the reason is I'm not comfortable with me just burning that money.
Yeah.
Yep.
That being said, a night out, going out drinking and going out for food, for me,
Still
is
burning that
on
money.
average $300 to $500 for a New Year's Eve, or $300 to $500 for a birthday party or something like that. Going and buying a bottle, paying for dinner for a friend and myself, and I don't expect to get anything back from that. So I go into early access games, and I think a lot of people should go into early access games with that in mind, that once that money is given to them, they use that to spend on the development of making the game, and that doesn't go into any of their profits, right?
Anything
So
over that $45 pledge,
yes,
it has to be a
60,
labor
whatever.
of love from you to CIG. You have to really have that money spare, and you have to, obviously you want your ship, but you shouldn't expect massive benefits from that ship that's going to catapult you into beating other players. That's not what the game intention's there for. And I encourage everyone to buy that $45 game package and nothing else, unless they have
and people
money
are
to burn.
and people are freaking out like $500 dinners or whatever. There's places that are much more expensive with that. I'm just saying that's what
For New
I'm
Year's,
comfortable.
yeah. New Year's is
That's
expensive.
what New Year's this last year, I think I spent $1,200. You know, and that's something I was comfortable spending, and I knew I wasn't going to have anything at the end of it. You know, that's paying for limo rides, that's paying for alcohol, that's paying to get into places, that's paying for dinner, that's paying to have a good time and whatever. But I know I'm not getting anything tangible out of that. And so that's the mindset I go in with this, right? I enjoy the process behind it. I enjoy seeing the process. I enjoy being, however small part of that process I am, I enjoy that as well, and seeing being built and being able to jump in and test it out every now and then or whatever. And if I wasn't a content creator, there's no way I would have the amount of money spent that I would have. I probably would have maybe $300 to $500, because in the long run, for me, that's an insignificant amount of money for me to
That streamer money.
to just well, no, not even streamer money. It's an insignificant amount of money overall, right? Like, how much do you
Money is
are
very
you-
relative. So
Yeah, it is.
1200 to
It
you
is
might be something
right,
very different.
and
to
that's what I'm
someone
saying.
else, so.
Me personally, I'm not saying $1,200 to everybody
It's a
to
Canadian
go
company,
and
I
do
agree.
something for New Year's isn't a lot of money. It can be to some people. To some people, I know I have friends where $10,000, $15,000 spent on New Year's is a fucking joke, right? But
I'll have you
it's
know that
completely
$5
relative.
for a sub is a lot of money to me.
Right.
quite
I
often.
want to
And
jump in here real
$60
quick, because he asked.
all relative.
I don't think he asked us, and you have a very
once again,
valid
it's a
point
she.
for us about early access games and how the mentality that you have going into
Right.
them. But he told us, like, tell me why I should stay. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not here to sell you on why you should stay in Star Citizen or not. That is entirely your decision.
Mhm.
But I still think that anybody that is considering any sort of like refund or anything for this game is that we don't have the game yet. We don't have any sort of game mechanics yet. If you're gonna make a decision to do any sort of refund, I think it should be until after 3.0. So I don't think you should do it right now. I think you should wait till 3.0,
game.
see what they do. Yeah, but at least I agree with you. But at least until then, where there's actually a game to be played, right? There's currently zero game to be played. There's
In
zero
terms of already
things
backed
to
the
do,
game
so-
and
to
getting
give it
a
a chance until
refund
then,
for
at
things, it really depends on why you're wanting that refund. Do you need that refund to pay your rent, or to
Well,
to
in my
do
opinion, that's
whatever?
a bullshit excuse.
That
'Cause
would
you
be
should-
a bullshit
you should have thought
excuse,
about that
and
that
that
money
before
should
you
right.
bought the goddamn ship in the first place.
At the same time, yeah, that's just poor money management.
And that's
in-
your
in that
fault, nobody
sense.
else's. It's not Star
Um,
Citizen's fault. We're not to manage your money.
But the ships are so pretty.
It's it just sounds like things are being purchased out of impulse. Where if
Of
you want a
course.
refund on on an early access game that is still producing content, that hasn't gone silent. That, like, if they've gone silent and they had stopped producing whatever and they weren't saying anything to anybody and the shows stopped and they just sort of, people walked by their office and they couldn't tell if people were there or not, that's something completely different. If we've gone a full year or something without any updates and they're saying there's all this stuff, then maybe that's something to look at then. But I don't think we're seeing anything outside of normal game development. Now, I know one of the main concerns is that CIG has moved to discounts for cash. How CIG runs their business going forward is how they decide to run it. I don't think that should be business. I don't think that should be something whether you should get a refund or not. Like, why?
I think it's making him nervous.
I think it's because the older backers, the original backers, are like, why aren't we getting that discount rolled out to us? We should be able to get it out to us. And for me, as a thrifty person, I'm very much like, well, we should be able to use store credit on those discounts. I think people do forget a little bit that the older backers do have all of that, like, older backer rewards for backing earlier. There's lots of stuff like the golden tickets early on, but I'm talking about, like, all the extra flair and loads of other bits and bobs, which they were given. I am annoyed when I don't get stuff as good a deal as I want, but there's always going to be.
Have you ever sat down next to a Mountie before?
That I always feel like I'm missing out on, even when it's not. You see what I mean? I just wish when they did discounts, it was just for starter packages. That would make me happy.
Yeah, and they did it way back.
Yeah. But what is your suggestion on whether to or to not get? If you were to say get one or don't get one, what would you say, Twerk?
A refund? I would say wait until after 3.0 and then make a decision.
I wouldn't get one. I'm all in.
I wouldn't get one, but
yeah,
like
I wouldn't.
You can't even think about it until there's a game to be played. Is where I mean, obviously, I don't think you should get one.
Yeah,
I think you should have. I think you should have thought of that before you got into it, and that's my opinion on it.
Or before spending a certain amount of money or whatever.
Yeah, but before even having a thought in your mind about it, you can't make that decision based on the patch that we're in now.
Yeah, I don't think from my perspective, I'm not getting a refund, so I can't advise about to get one. I
accidentally bought 11 Heralds once.
Yeah, if you do something like that, that's not on purpose, and you message them right away. Yeah. It's not something like, 6 months or a year down the line.
I've just spent $900 on Heralds by accident. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that being said, was the last of our questions. Hopefully, we've answered them all to your satisfaction. Twerk, what are you up to this week, and where can people find you?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Twerk17, but you won't see me there very much this week. I'm going to go visit some extended family, leaving early tomorrow morning, so I will not have a stream tomorrow. I will not have a stream Thursday. I get back in at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. So if I get home in time, I'll just pop on stream. If the flight's delayed or whatever, I will not be here. So I'll let you know on Twitter what's going on and all that stuff.
So are you going to be here for the podcast next week?
Wednesday? Yeah, no, I'm just going for a couple days to visit family.
Okay, so you will be here for the podcast then?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be here. Oh, no, I won't be here for the podcast next week. I'm going... my family is coming. So then again, next week, it's a crazy month right now. So the following week, I have like a weird schedule with work, and then my family's in town. Thanksgiving, we're going, so I won't be here on for the podcast on Wednesday. Noobifier is going to cover for me, so you guys will have Bored and Noob. So I'm all over the place right now. It's just like a crazy time for me. But yeah, you can find me there. Hopefully, some YouTube videos or something like that. We'll see. I really have nothing planned right now, other than I think we're going to start playing Borderlands 2 Monday.
You need to play through it at least once in your life.
Yeah, that's what everyone's telling. Like everybody suggested Borderlands 2, so we're going to give that.
I will see about getting us a copy of Rainbow Six.
That'd be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that might be cool.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
I told Twitch.tv/Twerk17 and then Twerk17 Gaming on Twitter, YouTube, and if you want to fucking add me on Snapchat, I'm on there too. But I don't really do much. If you want to see food stuff,
nudes.
if you want to see food stuff and maybe nudes.
I love Twerk's nudes.
But
Yeah.
no,
News.
definitely all snaps of me cooking is all my Snapchat is. That's
Oh my
it.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
And Bored, what are you up to this weekend? Where can people find you?
People can find me at the BoredGamerUK. Remove the BoredGamerUK on the Twitches, on the YouTubes, on the social medias of all types. Go check me out. It's me. Hello. I am going to be doing. I've got a cotton bud in my hand. I'm going to be doing a live stream just before the anniversary live stream, an hour before,
Mhm.
and we're going to watch it together, and then we're going to watch it afterwards. I'm sure lots of everyone else is going to do it in the world, but we'll be doing that if people want to join me. I'm also giving away a Banu Merchant to one of my Game Whisper Patreon
Oh
supporters
wow.
as well. So I
Is
mean,
it random? So do I have a chance?
it is random, and you do have a chance. If it is you, I will redraw, and
That's
I will
fine.
go Twerk. Can I give something to your channel instead? If something like
No,
that
just
happens,
just redraw it. I don't want it. I'll let you know right now. Give it to your community.
If
What am I
something like
going to
that
do with
ever
it?
happens, I will give something to your channel, and then also draw it for an actual winner.
Like if you really feel the need to give something to the channel, do it.
Yeah, I
But
do.
again, just fucking reroll and give it to somebody.
So if people wanted to game Wisp Patreon to me, they're more than welcome to. As shameless plugs. And yeah, just I mean, I'm the stream. It has become more and more important to me now because people seem to actually quite like it, and I'm able to read now. I've taught myself.
He's paid attention to the chat, guys. I
It's
saw
amazing.
it.
Now.
I confirmed it. What was it? Tuesday.
Yeah,
Hang
and
on.
I'm quite enjoying the stream because I can do it at my own pace, and people don't seem to mind if I'm a bit late or if I'm a bit out of.
They
little
mind
space.
if I'm late.
Yeah, but they expect you on time. You're
Nah.
professional, whereas I'm just kind of there.
Professional is not something I've been described as before.
But hopefully, I'll be getting that PC gaming article out about picking PC parts for gaming computers in general, but with a kind of look at Star Citizen at all levels. So super high spec, all the way down to the super cheap $200 ones. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching me. You're the best. Saurus, what are you doing? I've forgotten what I was doing or talking about. Help, Saurus.
So I will be playing some more Call of Duty and Star Citizen going forward.
You going on after this?
I will be going on after this. I'm also announcing the DX Racer winner after this on my stream.
I'll take my DX Racer.
Yep. And what else am I doing? I'm doing the Table of Terror on Saturday on the Stacey Roy's channel. And then on Sunday I'm helping her. I'm making some changes to the actual Table of Terror stream. Just to up the production quality on that, and they're going to be working on some set design, like physical set design and stuff. So we're going to be working on all of that stuff this weekend. I'm also going to be working on some new screens for the Redacted podcast. So when one person is talking, we can have them as the primary, and then some information with them.
That'll be really
that's something
awesome,
I've been
yeah.
wanting to do for a while, but I haven't really gotten around to be able to do.
You should talk to Brickyard a little bit.
I'm just going to do it myself at this point.
Yeah, but then maybe we can get it in CLR form or whatever.
Yeah, possibly. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. I do have a thing going on right now with Loot Crate that they are one of the channel sponsors. So if we hit 30 Loot Crates sold this month, I'm going to be giving away a 1060 and a year. I think the year of Loot Crate is going to be no matter what. We're going to tag on a year to somebody who's picked up Loot Crate, and remember, it makes a great gift or whatever.
What
as
was
well.
in this month's Loot Crate? Saurus.
That was the gaming
These-
one.
Okay, Loot Socks is something I'm obsessed with now.
Yeah, that you get those in
I love
Lootware
socks.
as well.
Yeah, there were some Zelda socks.
Look at all
Yeah.
these guys. But yeah,
So,
so that's
me and
what we're
Bored
gonna
are
be
help
doing.
Saurus sell loot crates and not our own. But yeah, no, they got
and-
some really cool stuff. So definitely check them out.
We will be doing that. You can find me live on twitch.tv/WTFOSAURUS or on Twitter, twitter.com/WTFOSAURUS. Also remember to check out our website, redacted.tv. And if you enjoy the content of the podcast and the team, check out our patreon.com/redactedtv. And also remember, all of our shirts, I believe, are on sale right now. For me and Twerk, and the Redacted shirts are all on sale for $14. Exclamation point store in chat for that.
Yeah, and real quick about the Patreon before we go is I've changed some of the goals and stuff, so you guys kind of know what you're backing towards. So if you guys want to check those out, current Patrons, new Patrons, you're really going to get to see where your money's going towards and
Saurus.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's
Are you
why we
gonna-
showed you the website today, is because it was you guys that made that happen. So thank you so much.
Are you going to be announcing the winner of your chair in a minute
Yes.
When I,
Wow.
yeah,
when you go live?
when I
Yeah, when he goes
go,
live.
when I'm back live on my channel, and have a little powwow with my channel.
Powwow.
Alrighty, so we will see you guys next week on Wednesday.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. We will see you then.